Chapter 1. Sun Hao looked at the rice paper spread on the flat table and took a deep breath. Then, he picked up the brush and waved it. In just a few breaths, a giant dragon appeared on the paper. The giant dragon roamed among the clouds. Its 2 eyes were fierce and overbearing, breathtaking. The whole dragon seemed to be about to drill out of the paper, and the artistic conception was long. Wonderful! It's really wonderful! Sun Hao looked at the newly completed, dragon soaring cloud painting, and nodded with satisfaction. This kind of artistic conception, looking at the whole world, no one could compare with him. If it was on the earth in his previous life, it would definitely be sold at a high price. In this world, it was just a piece of waste paper. Yes, Sun Hao was a traveler. It had been 20 years since he came here. Originally, he wanted to get the invincible system and walk to the peak of life like other travelers. But, although he got the system, he had a useless physique. The body couldn't store spiritual energy and couldn't cultivate. Therefore, the system taught him the guqin, chess, books, painting, poetry, wine, flowers, tea, forging, planting, cooking, cloth, porcelain, carpentry, medicine, all mortal means. Most of them had reached the supreme realm. Now, only the art of painting was still lacking. Ding! It is detected that the host has painted a perfect work, Dragon Soaring Cloud Painting. Painting experience plus 1000. Ding! The painting level has reached the supreme realm. Ding! Reward the host, a set of top wolf hairbrushes. At this time, 3 mechanical voices sounded. On the desk, a wooden box appeared out of thin air. When he opened it, it was full of brushes, from thick to thin, a complete set. The system's products must be fine. However, Sun Hao didn't pay attention to these. He took a long breath, and his eyes flickered. All reached the supreme realm, I can cultivate. Sun Hao clenched his fists excitedly. Ding! It is detected that all the host's skills are perfect. This system has nothing to teach, goodbye. What? Can't teach? Didn't it say that when all the skills reach the supreme realm, it would give him a supreme physique to open the road of cultivation? Wait. Sun Hao hurriedly opened his mouth. What about the supreme physique? Sun Hao asked. Wait a moment. After this sound, a cold airflow drilled into Sun Hao's body. Ding! It has been detected that the host's luck is insufficient. Unable to open. Ding! You can only unlock the supreme physique when you collect enough blessing points. After 2 sounds, a panel appeared in front of Sun Hao. Blessing point 0/100 0000. Description: When the blessing points are full, the primordial Taoist body can be activated. The 2 simple lines made Sun Hao puzzled. System: How do I collect the blessing point? Sun Hao asked. No response. With a thought, he did not open the character panel. The system had run away. Holy shit! His mental state had been tempered for many years, and it had improved significantly. At this moment, Sun Hao still couldn't help but swear. He had worked hard for 20 years just to obtain a peerless physique and start cultivating. Now you're telling me that I don't have enough blessing points and need to collect them? Are you messing with me? If that was all, then it was fine, but there was no way to collect them. Moreover, the system had run away without saying a word. Who else could it be? Who else could encounter a system that was more deceitful than this? Stupid system, send the boss back. I'm going back to Earth to act tough. Motherf *, it really ran away. Sun Hao kept shouting, and only the sound of running water in the mountains responded to him. Forget it, I'll figure it out myself. It looks like I should go down the mountain too. Sun Hao sighed secretly and glanced into the room. Brush, ink, paper, inkstone, ancient zither and flute. His gaze finally fell on an ancient zither. This ancient zither was also a product of the system, and it had a kind of quaint aura. Old man, this time, I can't take you down the mountain. Sun Hao sat next to the ancient zither and began to play the strings. Down the mountain. In a dense forest. Damn it. A teenager looked at the gap on the long knife and cursed. On the teenager's back, there were scars all over, as if he had been injured by sharp claws. His name was Chun Daoming, a disciple of the Overlord sect. Howl, the monster's cry came from behind. Chun Daoming's scalp exploded, and he hurried forward. The wound on his back was affected, and along the way, a little blood was sprinkled. Not far away, Chun Daoming clutched his chest and panted. A sense of dizziness came. No, I must not stop. Chun Daoming took a breath and continued to run forward. However, he had just lifted his foot step by step and quickly stopped. Looking ahead, his pupils shrank and a burst of chill came. He saw that in front of him stood a man in a black robe. Two sharp eyes came out of the ghost mask and stared at Chun Daoming. Jia jia, there was a strange laughter, like a ghost howling in hell, which was creepy. Little doll, the game is over. Under the black mask there was a voice. Just by yourself? Chun Daoming pointed his long knife at the man in black robe and shouted angrily. Hee, the man in black robe did not respond and took out a flute. Chun Daoming transferred his body's spiritual power and put it on the long knife. Buzz, the long knife emitted a faint silver light. Come on, hurt each other. Chun Daoming clenched the long knife with both hands and kicked hard. His body was like a cannonball, slashing toward the man in black robe. Bang! The knife energy entered the ground and blasted a ravine. However, in front of Chun Daoming, there was no figure of the man in black robe. Woo! Suddenly, the sound of a flute sounded. Hearing this sound, Chun Daoming's face changed greatly, found a direction, and quickly ran away. Howl, around the dense forest, there was a burst of monster roars. A flock of birds panicked. Not good. Chun Daoming was sweating, and his speed increased a bit. However, he didn't run far. A strange, pitch-black man blocked his way. The strange man's eyes were dull, and his mouth made a strange cry like a beast growling. Howl, behind him, there was also a roar. Damn it! Chun Daoming squeezed out the last bit of spiritual power in his body and put it on the long knife. Then, he kicked the ground with his hind legs and slashed toward the strange man like a cannonball. Ding! There was a sound of metal collision. The long knife slashed the strange man's arm, splashing a flame, leaving a gap again. Chun Daoming was shaken to the point of bleeding, and he was in pain. Before he could react, the strange man's human claw quickly grabbed. Poochie! The claw was like a steel nail, grabbing Chun Daoming's chest, leaving a few blood lines along with the skin and flesh, dripping with blood. Boom! Chun Daoming's body flew backward and hit the ground heavily, blood spurting from his mouth. One blow, serious injury. Howl! In the blink of an eye, more than a dozen strange men came quickly. In an instant, Chun Daoming was surrounded. Dealing with one was as difficult as ascending to heaven. In the face of a group, there was no way to live. Senior brother, wake up! Junior sister, wake up! Chun Daoming looked at these strange men and shouted loudly. However, it was useless. These strange men, like puppets without intelligence, turned a deaf ear to Chun Daoming's voice. Little baby, now it's your turn. Do you have any last words? At this time, the man in black robe came, and the strange men automatically dispersed, making way. Last words, your hammer. You want to refine me into a puppet, dream on. After that, Chun Daoming picked up the long knife, aimed it at his neck, and stabbed it. Clang, the long knife fell to the ground. Jia jia, the man in black robe laughed up to the sky. Little baby, you want to die? It won't be that easy. You'd better obediently become my puppet. The man in black robe took out the flute and began to play. Damn puppet clan, you have no conscience, you will die a horrible death. Chun Daoming roared. No, the sound of the flute shook Chun Daoming's soul, and he fell to the ground, struggling. The feeling of his soul being torn, the pain almost made him lose his breath. His soul was like a candle in the wind, about to be extinguished at any time. Woo! As the flute sound became more urgent, Chen Daoming also became more and more painful, seeing that he was about to faint. At this time, a sound came. Chapter 2. Dong, the sound of a zither came from the mountain. It was sonorous and powerful, hitting the heart. At this moment there was no sound at all. In Chen Daoming's mind, the pain of his soul tearing disappeared. There was an indescribable comfort in the whole person. The surrounding spiritual energy slowly poured into his body, repairing his injuries. The black-robed man also stood in the same place, and the ghost mask penetrated the color of panic. Who is it? Who broke my great soul control technique? The black-robed man roared, but found that his voice could not come out. This side of the world seemed to become a vacuum. This is impossible. I don't believe it. The black-robed man picked up the flute, mobilized the power in his body, and continued to play it. However, it was useless, and the flute did not make a sound. Dong, the sound of the zither continued to sound. A picture scroll was spread out flat. Thousands of horses galloped, and thousands of troops fought. The battle intent billowed, sweeping the world. Hua hua, the bodies of those pitch-black freaks seemed to have been cut open by thousands of threads, turning into pus that flowed in all directions. This scene directly scared the black-robed man to the spot. How could it be? The black-robed man kept shaking his head, scared silly. Clang clang, the sound of the ancient zither became more rapid and compact. Every sound was passionate, stirring, and gripping to the heart. A ripple that could not be seen by the naked eye, centered on the mountainside, spread around. These ripples were like thousands of troops and horses, killing in all directions. The killing intent shrouded the 9 heavens and 10 earth. All of a sudden, it wrapped Chen Daoming and the black-robed man. So comfortable. Chen Daoming closed his eyes and felt it quietly. The surrounding spiritual energy became rapid, rushing like a tsunami, drilling into his body. The injuries on his body were completely recovered. His strength was rapidly increasing. The black-robed man's performance was completely different. He screamed in pain, fell to the ground, and fell like a dog eating mud. Every sound of the zither seemed to cut his soul, and he screamed in pain again and again. The sound of the zither changed, from rapid to slow. The picture changed. Spring breeze, warm sun. On the green grass, a group of family members lay lazily on the ground, bathing in the sun. It looked very comfortable. Chen Daoming's heart was like still water, and the corners of his mouth were slightly raised. Ah, no! The black-robed man clutched his head and fell to the ground, screaming miserably. The black aura on his body quickly dispersed and evaporated into nothingness. His body gradually turned into black ashes and disappeared from the world. All that was left was a pitch-black skeleton. Clang! The demon mask fell to the ground. The skull was ferocious and terrifying, filled with unwillingness. Chen Daoming still stood in the same place, feeling all this. The music stopped. The sound lingered in the air. Suddenly, buzz! Chen Daoming opened his eyes, and his aura soared. He broke through. He clenched his fists, his body trembling with excitement. He had been stuck at the Qi condensation realm for 2 years, unable to make any progress. Who would have thought that listening to the zither would allow him to break through to foundation establishment? He scanned his dantian with his consciousness and revealed an excited expression. With such a huge dantian, my talent has increased by several times. He is invincible in the same realm. Who is it? Not only can it help me break through, but it can also strengthen my talent. This method is shocking. Senior's kindness, I must go and thank him. Chen Daoming nodded secretly and made a decision. His eyes swept to where the black-robed man was, and he couldn't help but look sluggish. Dead? Chen Daoming walked to the skeleton, looking surprised. Aren't you awesome? Come on, hurt each other. He lifted his foot and kicked fiercely. Boom! The skeleton cracked, turned into black ash, and scattered around. So brittle? Killing a nascent soul evil cultivator is like slaughtering a chicken. Such an expert's method is incredible. Is it possible that the person playing the zither is a soul formation expert? No, it must be more than that, maybe a void transformation realm master. Oh my God, next to this great demon mountain range, there is such a powerful person hidden. If I can form a good relationship with a powerful person, I'm afraid, at this point, Chen Daoming's heart beat violently. He took a few deep breaths, carried the long saber on his back, and walked up the mountain. A small stream meandered up. The clear stream hit the stones and gave off a curling mist. This mist enveloped the peach blossom forest like a fairyland. A breeze blew with a faint peach blossom fragrance, smelling it, the whole body was comfortable. There is such a scenery. The place where the powerful person lives is really unusual. When I see the powerful person later, I must be respectful and must not offend him. Chen Daoming murmured, constantly warning himself. Sun Hao looked at the ancient zither with a smile at the corner of his mouth. Just now, he played a song and got more than a dozen blessing points. Playing the ancient zither can get blessing points, presumably other skills can also get blessing points. It's so easy to get blessing points, it seems that there is no need to go down the mountain. It's too dangerous to go down the mountain. With my mortal body, I'm afraid I won't live long. I must get the blessing points as soon as possible, get the supreme physique, and then go down the mountain to find a sect to cultivate. Let's try first, can painting get blessing points? Thinking like this, Sun Hao walked to the desk, spread the rice paper, and prepared to paint. At this time, "Excuse me, is anyone home?" A voice came from outside the front yard. "Someone? Is it a cultivator?" Sun Hao was shocked, and his face showed a little fear. In this world, strength was the law, and if there was a disagreement, people would kill. He was immortal, even if he was just a cultivator in the qi refining realm. In front of him, he was like an ant. Listening to his voice, it was full of vigor, and he was afraid that his cultivation was extraordinary. Be careful, don't show your timidity. Sun Hao walked to the front yard, opened the door, looked at the man in front of him, and couldn't help but be stunned. He saw that he had long silver hair, and behind him, a long knife. There were several cuts on his clothes, and dried blood stains covered his whole body. He was Chen Daoming. At this moment, Chen Daoming also looked at Sun Hao with a blank face. There is no spiritual power fluctuation, well-dressed, dignified, looks like a young master of a big family. Is he the powerful person who saved me? Impossible. He is too young, and he is immortal. Is he the disciple of that powerful person? It must be so. In that case, you must not offend him. Thinking like this, Chen Daoming walked to Sun Hao, bowed and clasped his fist. "Young master, I am Chen Daoming. May I ask young master's name?" Sun Hao was secretly shocked, but he didn't dare to show it on his face. He put his hands behind his back, showing the appearance of an expert. Surname Sun, a single word Hao. Sun Hao said. "Greetings, young master Sun Hao." Chen Daoming bowed deeply again. "No need to be polite, what can I do for you?" Sun Hao asked. "Young master, I came here to thank young master's master," Chen Daoming said. Hearing this, Sun Hao was shocked. Chapter 3. Thank my master? Was there a mistake? Since when did he not know that he had a master? This guy must have made a mistake. Since that was the case, he would test it out first. "Master?" Sun Hao raised the corner of his mouth and asked, "Then do you know my master's name?" Chen Daoming looked sluggish, and a little sweat appeared on his forehead. How would he know? "Young master, I don't know," Chen Daoming answered truthfully. "Then have you ever seen my master?" Sun Hao asked. "Young master, I have never seen him," Chen Daoming said. "I've never seen him, and I don't know his name." "Then how do you know that my master saved you?" Sun Hao asked. "Young master, your master was at the foot of the mountain just now. He helped me break through and killed the killer centipede. Although he didn't show his face, his methods were shocking. This, I can naturally confirm, Chun Daoming said. Hearing this, Sun Hao nodded secretly. From the looks of it, some expert must have passed by and saved this kid. This matter had nothing to do with him. Of course, he couldn't admit to this matter. If he found out that he was lying to him in the future, he would definitely regret it. Kacha. Wouldn't he have died in vain? Brother Chen, I don't have a teacher. It must be someone else who saved you. Sun Hao said. What? Chun Daoming looked shocked and stood there awkwardly. Someone saved me? He had actually found himself in a mortal's home. How embarrassing. However, this young master before him was elegant and dignified, so he was probably no ordinary person. Brother Chun, since you can find this place, it is fate. Otherwise, please come in, let's drink and talk. Sun Hao said. As the saying goes, one's mouth is soft when fed, and one's hands are short when taken. As long as this brat drank his tea, he wouldn't have any killing intent towards him. Thinking of this, the corners of Sun Hao's mouth rose. Drinking tea? Chen Daoming shook his head secretly. Naturally, he didn't like to drink tea from the secular world. Once a cultivator reached the qi refinement realm, they would no longer be affected by worldly affairs. Worldly tea was naturally no exception. Not to mention that he had already reached foundation establishment. However, it was really embarrassing to disturb this young master now. Then let's have a drink and leave. Thank you, young master. Chun Daoming cupped his fist. Please. Under Sun Hao's enthusiastic invitation, the two walked into the courtyard. There was a pond in the front yard. The dark green lotus leaves were verdant and glistening. The lotus flowers were slender and elegant, like shy young girls, their faces flushed red. It's only March and the lotus has already bloomed. How is this possible? Seeing this lotus pond, Chun Daoming showed a little surprise. Chun Daoming's surprised look was clearly captured by Sun Hao. The corner of Sun Hao's mouth raised slightly, and his face showed a touch of pride. His botany skills had reached an unparalleled level. This pond of lotus flowers, he could let them bloom forever and never wither. Soon, the two of them arrived in front of a loft. The pavilion was 30 meters tall, like a heavenly palace. Just a glance at it would make one feel reverence. To the left of the pavilion, there were 2 cherry blossom trees, exuding a pink fragrance. Together with the lotus flowers, it created a unique scene. There was a pavilion under the cherry tree. In the pavilion, there was a tea table and a few chairs. Sun Hao took Chun Daoming to the pavilion. Brother Chun, please. Young master, thank you. Chun Daoming looked nervous and sat down carefully. He glanced at the main hall and quickly looked away. The main hall was uncanny workmanship, like an immortal palace, making people feel small standing in front of it. A mortal actually lives in such a place. Amazing! It seems that this young master must be a member of a great family. Chun Daoming thought secretly. Brother Chun, wait a moment. Next, Sun Hao showed his tea skills. Clean hands, warm pot, wash tea, brew. The whole process was skillful and elegant. If this was in his previous life, he would be a proper tea master. A moment later, the tea was ready. A tea fragrance came to his face. Smelling it, he felt comfortable all over, making people want to drink it. What kind of tea was this? How could it be so fragrant? I really want to drink it. Chun Daoming looked at Sun Hao's movements, eager to see. Come, drink tea. Sun Hao took a cup of tea and placed it in front of Chun Daoming. Thank you. Chun Daoming picked up the teacup and took a sip. Boom. Like a thunderbolt, it struck Chun Daoming's head. He was so shocked that he couldn't calm down for a long time. This. He was so excited that he was incoherent, and the color of shock was written all over his face. This small sip of tea, with an incomparably strong aura, rushed in his body. It seemed to burst his body. Chen Dao-ming quickly sank his mind and began to guide. It took him a full quarter of an hour to guide all the aura to his dantian. His dantian became several times larger. His strength broke through from the early stage of foundation building to the middle stage of foundation building. Chen Dao-ming's heart was agitated, and he couldn't calm down for a long time. He had almost exploded and died. It was terrible. Such a strong aura, what kind of tea is this? This sip is equivalent to 100 low-grade spirit stones. The problem is that this is 1,000 times better to absorb than spirit stones. This kind of spirit tea, if released to the outside world, will definitely set off a bloody storm. The more he looked, the more Chen Dao-ming's heart beat. No, the young master is immortal, how can he drink this kind of tea? Looking up, he saw that Sun Hao was already preparing to drink the second cup. Gulp, 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 gulp. Tsk, good tea. Seeing this scene, Chen Dao-ming's heart tightened. He secretly wiped a cold sweat. Where was the young master immortal? He was obviously a peerless expert. Such a strong aura, swallowed so easily. This strength was at least the nascent soul realm, no, the soul formation realm. He still regarded the young master as immortal, it was simply a joke. Fortunately, his attitude was good. He didn't annoy the young master, otherwise, the young master could slap him into ashes with one slap. It was scary to think about it. Brother Chen, don't be stunned, drink. Sun Hao said. Yes, young master. After returning to his senses, Chen Dao-ming took the cup and took a sip. Chapter 4. After a cup of tea. Kacha! A sound rang out. Chen Dao-ming clenched his fists, and his whole body trembled with excitement. Another breakthrough. Now, he had reached the golden core realm. His mind swept to the golden core, and his eyes were full of shock. I have just condensed the golden core, and it is already extremely stable. There is no trace of impurities in the golden core. I have a supreme golden core. Oh my God, what kind of spiritual tea am I drinking? Chen Dao-ming's heart was surging, and he couldn't calm down at all. He looked at Sun Hao, and his gaze of worship and awe swept over. Brother Chen, another cup? Sun Hao asked. No, Chen Dao-ming quickly waved his hand. This kind of spirit tea, how dare he be greedy? Another cup, I will definitely not be able to digest it. If I don't finish it, I will definitely make the young master unhappy. If I break this path of creation, I have to find a place to cry to death. The young master, such a peerless expert, treats me like a mountain. This great kindness I will never forget. I must give the young master a gift in return. Chen Dao-ming thought secretly, and his mind swept to the space ring. Inside, there were 3 low-grade spirit stones, a rotten leather armor, a long sword, none of the spirit items. How could the young master like these things? Hey, I have to find a way to get a spirit item for the young master. Chen Dao-ming secretly made a decision. The beautiful scenery lingered, the tea was intoxicating, the young master spoke elegantly, and his temperament was extraordinary. There seemed to be a charm in his words, which made him feel enlightened. Before he knew it, half a day had passed. The sky gradually darkened. Not long after, it began to drizzle. At a glance, the water mist was steaming, like an ink landscape painting. It was hazy and beautiful, fascinating. Suddenly, Chen Dao-ming raised his eyebrows and seemed to think of something important. Young master, I have troubled you for a long time, please forgive me, I have something to do, so I will leave first. Chen Dao-ming stood up and saluted. Brother Chen, you are welcome. Sun Hao looked at the sky and watched the drizzle. His eyes swept to the bamboo hat and straw raincoat hanging by the pavilion. Since Brother Chen wants to go, I will not hold you back. Take this, you can take shelter from the wind and rain. With that, Sun Hao handed the bamboo hat and straw raincoat to Chen Dao-ming. Thank you, young master. Chen Dao-ming put on his hat, put on his coat, and bowed again. Brother Chen, Remember to come more often. Definitely. Chen Daoming turned around and left quickly. He left a hazy silhouette in the rain and mist. When Sun Hao saw this scene, he walked back to the house and began to play the guqin. Boom! His voice spread throughout the entire valley. The ink landscape, coupled with the sound of the zither, was simple and serene, with a profound artistic conception. Chen Daoming's head roared. There was an indescribable feeling in his heart. He seemed to have grasped some kind of mystery. Chen Daoming stood in place, motionless. It was not until the end of the zither that he recovered. Just one piece of zither music has allowed me to reach a mysterious state. I seem to have comprehended a trace of saber intent. Could it be that the person who played the zither just now was not someone else, but young master? At this thought, Chen Daoming took a breath of cold air. It was actually the young master who helped him break through and kill the demons. However, the young master wasn't willing to admit this. Could it be? Young master was stuck at a bottleneck, so he turned into a mortal and comprehended the mortal Tao to break through? It must be so. Don't break the young master, otherwise, it will damage the young master's Tao heart. At that time, 10,000 deaths can't absolve the blame. A strong man like the young master. Through heaven and earth. Unimaginable. I didn't expect that a little cultivator like me could have a relationship with such a powerful person. God, what kind of opportunity did I get? Chen Daoming's heart was already in turmoil. He took a few deep breaths before his expression calmed down. He turned to look in the direction of Sun Hao and bowed deeply. Young master's great kindness, I will remember it in my heart. If there is a chance, I will not hesitate to go through fire and water. After a long time, he turned around and walked down the mountain. On the way, he looked at the coat on his body. These two things that the young master gave me, I'm afraid they are also extraordinary. He took the bamboo hat and the coat and examined it carefully. Buzz, a roar hit his mind. His spiritual awareness couldn't penetrate the bamboo hat and the coat. This is by no means an ordinary thing. The things that the young master gave me must be kept well. After saying that, Chen Daoming moved his mind, and a barrier enveloped his body, blocking the rain outside. Later, he put these two things into the space ring. Mao Ku, you dare to plot against us. This time, even if the sect master protects you, you must be beheaded. Chen Daoming took a step and ran down the mountain quickly. Soon, he disappeared in the rain and mist. 20 points. Sun Hao opened the blessing point panel and saw the 20 blessing points on it, and his eyes shone. In just one day, he had harvested 20 blessing points, which was a good start. Just now, he gave Chen Daoming a cup of tea and harvested 3 blessing points. He gave him a bamboo hat and a coat and harvested 2 blessing points. It seemed that by giving things to the cultivators, he could harvest blessing points. He had enough things, and he would definitely gain a lot. Wonderful, I don't have to worry about not having any blessing points in the future. However, I still have to experiment more and wait for him to come over next time. Thinking so, Sun Hao held up the oil paper umbrella and walked into the house. When he came to the carving room, he looked at the pieces of wood on the ground and walked forward. Since playing music can harvest blessing points, carving should also work, right? First carve some small objects and give them to the cultivators, and I can also harvest a lot of blessing points. Sun Hao sat on the low stool, took out the carving knife, and began to carve. The carving knife in his hand was like a swimming dragon. Every single movement was as smooth as flowing water, without the slightest pause. A palm-sized statue was carved by him. These statues, there were Taoists, Buddha statues, birds, beasts, every piece was completed in one step, without fine carving or polishing. Every piece was lifelike, like a living thing. In a blink of an eye, it was a few hours. There was no wood left on the ground, and they all turned into statues. Okay, more than 200 pieces have been completed. This time I should be able to harvest a lot of blessing points. With my superb carving skills, even if Brother Chen is a cultivator, he should be able to see it. There are so many types. If Brother Chen comes again, let him choose directly. Damn, after carving for so long, I didn't get any blessing points. Chapter 5. Outside the Great Demon Mountain. Two women were standing on a mountain peak. They looked into the distance with cautious expressions. One of them had a sweet appearance. She looked ethereal and otherworldly. She was the saint of Jade Lake Palace, Su Yiling. Senior sister, are we really going to enter the Great Demon Mountain? Next to Su Yiling, a woman in blue gauze spoke. Little Ruo. Su Yiling looked at the blue-veiled woman. Master is possessed by the devil. You go back and accompany her. Just leave the matter of gathering herbs to me. Senior sister, Master has other junior sisters guarding him. He doesn't need me. Since we're going to enter the Great Monster Mountain, I naturally can't just stand by and watch. One more person means one more bit of strength. The blue-veiled woman said. Little Ruo, the Great Monster Mountain is extremely dangerous. If you go in with me, I'm afraid you'll implicate me. The dimples on Su Yiling's face disappeared, and she became majestic. Senior sister, hurry up and stay by Master's side. Only then will I feel at ease. Yes, senior sister. After saying that, the blue-veiled woman propped up her sword and quickly left. After the blue-veiled woman left, Su Yiling turned into a wisp of smoke and disappeared into the Great Demon Mountain in an instant. Phew, the woman in blue gauze went back and looked at the direction where Su Yiling disappeared. Senior sister, you want to abandon me? With that, the blue-veiled woman flew towards the Great Monster Mountain. Time flew, and in the blink of an eye, a day had passed. Thousands of miles away from the Great Demon Mountain range, Chen Daoming flew on his blade, his face showing a touch of joy. In front of him was the sect that he was in, the Tyrant Saber sect. The Tyrant Saber sect belonged to the 9th grade sect, and in the Great Law continent, it was the weakest sect. The sect's population, including the sect master, was only slightly more than 100 people. It could be said to be bleak and bleak. However, this was only temporary. Now that he had obtained such a great fortune, his strength was no weaker than the sect master. This time, when he returned, he would definitely shine brilliantly and make his master look at him in a different light. After landing, Chen Daoming walked towards the gate. He stroked his silver hair and rested his long saber on his shoulder, looking very domineering. Wait, why isn't there anyone guarding the gate? Chen Daoming raised his eyebrows and walked through the gate. Inside the sect, gray fog shrouded the surroundings, making it impossible for people to determine their direction. Not good. Chen Daoming took 2 steps back and dodged. Bang! A cloud of dust exploded at his original location. A broadsword was firmly stuck in the ground. Then, a figure dashed over. Your reaction is quite fast. A man appeared. The corners of his mouth were crooked, and he looked very evil. Mao Ku, is that you? Chen Daoming's face showed a little surprise. The man looked up to the sky and laughed, holding a big knife in his hand, pointing at Chen Daoming. It turns out that the little guy in this body is called Mao Ku, a good name. Hearing this, Chen Daoming's scalp was numb. Human puppet? Little fellow, you have some knowledge. But, so what? You will also become my puppet. After that, the man rushed towards Chen Daoming. Buzz! The broadsword buzzed, and a shockwave rippled out. Seeing this scene, Chen Daoming snorted coldly and did not retreat. The saber light flashed. Hua! A sound rang out. The man was cleaved into 2 halves and died on the spot. Then, Chen Daoming rushed forward. As long as they saw the puppets, regardless of their previous identities, they would be beheaded with a swing of their swords. Turning into a human puppet, they had lost their original consciousness, and there was no possibility of recovery. It didn't take long for dozens of disciples in the sect to be slaughtered by him. All around, the gray mist was getting thicker and thicker, and in the air, there was a faint, rancid smell. Danger was everywhere. Chen Daoming's face was dignified. Hee, a strange laughter sounded. Then, a black shadow floated in front of Chen Daoming. Chen Daoming picked up the long knife, aimed at the black shadow, and slashed it. Boom! A sound rang out. A long crack was cut in the ground. However, the black shadow stood there, unharmed. Interesting, so interesting. A little baby actually reached the Golden Core realm. I didn't expect that I, Xiefeng, would have such luck. This body, I want it. After the black shadow finished speaking, he appeared in front of Chen Daoming in an instant, raised his palm, and gently pressed it on his chest. Hoo! Chen Daoming flew out like a broken kite. Boom! There was a loud noise. Chen Daoming fell heavily to the ground, and his face was covered in dirt. Pain. Endless pain surged all over his body. The Golden Core realm seemed very strong, but in front of a real master, it was nothing. Damn it! Chen Daoming cursed and struggled to stand up. Both hands clenched the long knife, pointing at the black shadow. Come on! Hee. The black shadow let out a burst of laughter. I can't bear to hurt you. From today onwards, this body of yours belongs to me. Hoo! Chen Daoming rushed over again, aimed at the black shadow, and slashed down. However, the knife energy crossed the black shadow, but did not leave any damage to him. On the contrary, the black shadow gently patted Chen Daoming's body, as if it was about to collapse. There was endless pain in his body. The long knife was held in his hand, trembling slightly. It hurts, doesn't it? It's very uncomfortable, right? That's right, this is the God Transformation Palm, which specializes in dealing with the soul. A few more palms and your soul will be destroyed. The black shadow said unhurriedly, as if eating everything. Chen Daoming picked up the long knife and attacked frantically. No matter how hard he tried, he couldn't leave any damage to the black shadow. And he was panting, his face was pale, and he was on the verge of death. You, who the hell are you? Chen Daoming asked. It seems that you didn't listen to me carefully. I am Xiefeng. Since you know my name, then you can also die. After saying that, the black shadow rushed toward Chen Daoming. Xiefeng, I won't let you go even if I die. Looking at Xiefeng, who was rushing over quickly, Chen Daoming's face was full of unwillingness. He had just obtained an amazing opportunity, but unexpectedly, only 2 days later, he was going to die. I am unwilling. Young master, the great grace will be repaid again. He closed his eyes and quietly thought about the moment of drinking tea with Sun Hao yesterday. Since Brother Chen wants to go, I will not hold you back. Take this, and you can take shelter from the wind and rain. When Chen Daoming thought of this sentence, his eyebrows raised as if he thought of something. Shelter from the wind, Xiefeng? It turns out that the young master gave me a bamboo hat and a raincoat to avoid this, Xiefeng. Young master, I understand. At this point, Chen Daoming took out the bamboo hat and raincoat from the space ring and put them on his body. Seeing Chen Daoming, who was originally desperate, once again showed vitality. Xiefeng's expression stagnated when he saw the bamboo hat and raincoat. A playful smile appeared on his face. Little guy, do you want to use the bamboo hat and raincoat to deal with me? Xiefeng said. Oh, ignorant guy. Chen Daoming smiled coldly. Little guy, since you want to die so much, I will fulfill your wish. After saying that, Xiefeng's body surged with black gas. The God Transformation Palm quickly blasted toward Chen Daoming. Chapter 6. There was no accident. The God Transformation Palm hit Chen Daoming. A black gas, with the power to corrode the soul, instantly enveloped Chen Daoming. Jie, Xiefeng let out a strange laugh, his voice full of contempt. However, he laughed and laughed, then froze in place. He saw that after the black gas touched Chen Daoming's hat and coat, it all evaporated. It couldn't get close to Chen Daoming's body at all. Sure enough, Chen Daoming's eyes bloomed, and his gratitude was overflowing. Young master, it turns out that you have calculated everything. I am so stupid that I only understand now. Chen Daoming's body trembled slightly with excitement. This is impossible. Xiefeng's voice awakened Chen Daoming. Hee. Chen Daoming smiled coldly, looking at Xiefeng as if looking at a dead man. Xiefeng, you will die today. Little baby, just by yourself? After Xiefeng finished, he took out a long black staff and pointed it at Chen Daoming. Since I can't get your body, then I will destroy you. Howl! There was a howl. The black gas surged wildly, forming a storm in the blink of an eye. The surrounding trees were uprooted and turned into debris. The ground was being torn apart layer by layer, fusing together with the storm. The terrifying scene destroyed the sky and the earth. The storm surged forward rapidly. In an instant, it wrapped Chen Daoming. Little baby, die. A cruel smile appeared on Xiefeng's face. Howl! Only the sound of the storm was left. For a long time, the surroundings returned to calm. Within a radius of 100 meters, it was moved to the ground. Xiefeng's gaze looked in the direction of Chen Daoming, and he couldn't help but raise his eyebrows. This must be a dream. Xiefeng rubbed his eyes with a look of disbelief. He saw Chen Daoming standing in place, intact. Not a trace of injury was left. How could a little baby in the Golden Core realm stop my move? This must be a dream. Xiefeng's face was full of unwillingness. Oh, Xiefeng, if you have any moves, just use them, otherwise you won't have a chance, Chen Daoming said. Humph, just by you? This seat doesn't believe that you can still withstand it. Xiefeng executed move after move. Dark Corpse Explosion, Soul Devourer Technique, Dark Night Soul Obliteration. However, it was useless. Any means that hit Chen Daoming did not leave any damage to him. Xiefeng gasped and looked at Chen Daoming, his face full of fear. Xiefeng, the young master has calculated everything. Today is the day you die. Chen Daoming carried the long knife, stroked his silver hair, and sneered. Young master, what young master? Xiefeng asked. The dead don't need to know. After that, Chen Daoming's body disappeared. Dead silence returned to the surroundings. Xiefeng's gaze swept around, his mental strength on high alert. Kid, you're playing tricks. Get out here. The only response he got was silence. It was as if he was the only person in the entire world. Impossible. How could a Golden Core child have such a skill? Even my divine sense can't detect it. Where did he go? Beads of sweat appeared on Xiefeng's forehead as he panicked. Haha, it's here. Suddenly, a sound came from behind him. Xiefeng's scalp went numb. He turned around and retreated. However, stab. The sound of a knife stabbing into flesh and blood sounded. Xiefeng stared blankly at the long knife on his chest. Those notches were like raising his mouth and laughing at him. Stab! The long knife was pulled back. Thump! Xiefeng fell to the ground, looking at Chen Daoming, his face full of unwillingness. After a few times there was no movement and he died with his eyes closed. Chen Daoming looked at Xiefeng's body with a sneer on his face. The young master has a wonderful plan. No matter how powerful your means are, you can't turn over any waves. The young master's bamboo hat and straw cape seem ordinary, but they are extremely extraordinary. Although I can't see the grade, it must not be an ordinary spiritual weapon. It is likely to be a mid-grade spiritual weapon. The soul that can refine a mid-grade spiritual weapon is extremely strong. If this is the case, doesn't it mean that the young master is not in the void transformation realm at all, but the Mahayana realm? At this point. Hiss! Chen Daoming took a breath of cold air. Terrible, too terrible. He didn't expect that he, a small immortal cultivator, would get such an opportunity. This was a blessing that had been cultivated for several lifetimes. The young master gave me 2 mid-grade spiritual weapons. It must be to let me slay the demons. Since the evil has been eliminated, I must return it to the young master. However, It is really shameful to see the young master empty-handed. Chen Daoming's face showed a look of embarrassment. Don't worry, find the right thing, and then go see the young master. Chen Daoming returned to his senses and looked around. He found that the entire mountain gate of the Overlord sect had been moved to the ground. Now there was only one main hall left. I don't know how the master is? Are they okay? Chen Daoming rushed to the main hall. When he pushed the door, he saw dozens of people wrapped in black gas, struggling to support themselves. Chen Daoming threw the bamboo hat out. Buzz, the bamboo hat rotated. Wisps of blue light like rain sprinkled down. The blue light was like sweet dew, enveloping these people. The black gas on their bodies quickly dissipated. Taking back the bamboo hat, Chen Daoming sighed. With my current strength, I can only exert the power of this spiritual weapon at most. If it is held in the hands of the young master, I am afraid it will destroy the world. Chen Daoming put away the bamboo hat and the coat and ran to an old man with a white beard. Master, how are you? Disciple? The old man with a white beard opened his eyes, his face showing a touch of surprise. Did you save us? Chen Daoming nodded and looked at the old man with a white beard. Master, what the hell is going on? The old man with a white beard sighed heavily. The evil race is ready to move. Our overlord sect was targeted by the puppet race. That Xie Feng is not simple. Did he escape? The old man with a white beard asked. He is dead. Chen Daoming said. What? Everyone was shocked. Even the old man with a white beard was surprised. You killed him? The old man with a white beard asked. Chen Daoming nodded. Hiss, everyone gasped, their faces full of disbelief. Disciple, how is this possible? The old man with a white beard asked. Master, I was guided by a senior. He gave me 2 treasures, and that's why I was able to kill this evil being. However, the predecessor did not let me say who he was, and I hope Master can understand. Chen Daoming said. Hearing these words, everyone nodded secretly. Such a small thing, what is there to understand? Disciple, you have saved the entire sect. This position of sect master will be given to you. The old man with a white beard said. How can this be? Sect Master Qi is doing a good job. Chen Daoming said. A middle-aged man came out and respectfully clasped his fists. Daoming has outstanding talent and saved the entire sect. I am willing to pass the position of sect master to him. Everyone, do you have any objections? No. No one objected. A small sect was just that simple. Greetings, sect master. Except for the old man with a white beard, the others knelt down to Chen Daoming with a respectful posture. Chen Daoming stood in place, his face showing incredible surprise. Just because he saved everyone, he became the sect master? Disciple, since you are the sect master, this 5-color god lotus will be kept by you. After the old man with a white beard finished speaking, he took out a dazzling lotus and handed it to Chen Daoming. As soon as this thing came out, there was an exclamation all around. The sect master actually took out the treasure of the sect. This is a middle-grade elixir, I can actually see it in my lifetime. Chen Daoming picked up the 5-color god lotus, and his mind turned sharply. This is a middle-grade elixir. The young master may not necessarily like it, but at least he can take it out. Chen Daoming's eyes shone brightly. Disciple, there is still 1 month before the Yangzhou sect grand competition. Everything depends on you. The old man with a white beard said. Chen Daoming was speechless for a while, letting him be the sect master, so this was the plan. The sect grand competition seems to have a reward, and I can give it to the young master. Chen Daoming nodded secretly. Master, don't worry, this time, the Overlord Saber sect will become an 8th-class sect. Chapter 7. Sun Hao sighed softly, his face gloomy. There is really no pattern in harvesting the blessing point. Sun Hao murmured, picked up the hatchet, and split a piece of wood. Ding, blessing point plus 50. Hearing this, Sun Hao was taken aback. Did I hear it wrong? He opened the panel and looked at the 70 points of blessing point on it. For a while, he didn't come back to his senses. Since Chen Daoming left, he had been painting, writing, making tea, playing the piano. He did all this just to harvest the blessing point. However, there was no blessing point at all. Unexpectedly, after splitting a few pieces of firewood, he got 50 points of blessing point. Is there a blessing point in this firewood? Sun Hao looked at the wood in the room, his eyes shining as if he saw a pile of blessing points. In that case, I will split you all. Sun Hao picked up the hatchet and began to split the firewood. Boom, one was split, and no blessing point was obtained. Not discouraged, he continued to split. Another one was split and there was no blessing point. 10 were split and there was still no blessing point. 20, 50, 1,000. He chopped 1,000 pieces of wood. His palm was slightly hurt by the shock, and there was no blessing point at all. How was this possible? Could it be that the blessing point was obtained from other places, and he didn't know? No matter what, let's finish chopping them first. Continue. Sun Hao took a breath and continued to start. No. Still no. After half a day of hard work, there was only one piece of wood left in the entire woodshed. It's up to you. Sun Hao looked at the last piece of wood, and without hesitation, he split it directly. This piece of wood was very hard and difficult to split. The hatchet was stuck in it in a dilemma. So hard? Is there a blessing point? Sun Hao's eyes shone brightly, holding the hatchet with both hands and chopping hard. Boom! A sound rang out. The hatchet seemed to be subjected to infinite resistance, and it was difficult to go down. I don't believe it. Sun Hao increased his strength a little. Bang! A sound rang out. The hatchet couldn't withstand the force and broke. Damn, such a thick hatchet it broke? What kind of firewood is this? Break! Sun Hao roared and slashed hard. Bang! The wood cracked and split into 2 pieces, lying there quietly. It was a blood-red wood with a dense texture, emitting a faint fragrance. However, Sun Hao didn't pay attention to this at all. What he cared about was only the blessing points. However, still nothing. Sun Hao stood in place, the corner of his mouth twitching slightly. After chopping all the wood in the room, there was nothing left. Even if he was well-read, his mental state would still explode. He took the hatchet, opened the door, and threw it heavily. Fuck your blessing points. The hatchet turned into a parabola and landed next to the cherry blossom tree. Clang! Clang! If the chopper is broken, then I'll forge another one. Maybe I can get blessing points from forging. Sun Hao walked into the smithy. In the western region of the Heaven Luo continent, in a secret underground room of a certain mountain range. What? The evil monarch roared and slammed the stone table. Bang! The stone table cracked and collapsed into powder. Xie Feng is dead? How is this possible? The half-skeleton face of the evil monarch was so ferocious that no one dared to look directly at it. My lord, Lord Xie Feng's soul lamp has been broken, presumably. Below, a man in black knelt on the ground, shivering. Damn it! Damn it! How can a 9th-class sect kill Xie Feng? Come on, come with me, let's go and wipe out that sect. The evil monarch shouted. Wait. At this moment, a voice sounded. It was a man in a blood-red robe who spoke. Shuesha, this is a matter of my puppet clan, do you want to interfere? The evil monarch's voice was cold. I dare not. The corner of Shuesha's mouth raised, revealing an unfathomable smile. Brother June, answer a few questions for me first, and then you can decide, okay? Say it. The evil monarch suppressed his anger and said, What realm are you now? Perfect soul formation. What realm is Xie Feng? Middle soul formation. How did Xie Feng die? I don't know. How strong is Xie Feng's enemy? I don't know. Along the way, the evil monarch couldn't answer a single question. How could he not understand Shui Sha's intention? On his forehead, fine beads of sweat overflowed. Shui Sha, what should I do? The evil monarch asked. It's very simple, business is important. A sect, don't worry about it first. The task assigned by the above is to let us attract the attention of the Supreme Court. The evil monarch said. Shui Sha, it's easy to say, but it's not easy to do. How do we attract the attention of the Supreme Court? The Supreme Court only needs one master, and the two of us will be doomed. When it came to the Supreme Court, there was only fear on the evil monarch's face. You're right, the old monsters of the Supreme Court are too terrifying. However, there is a way. A smile appeared on the evil monarch's face. What way? The evil monarch asked. There is still 1 month before the Yangzhou sect grand competition. The evil monarch said. Yangzhou sect grand competition, what does this have to do with us? Do we have to participate? The evil monarch shook his head again and again. The evil monarch smiled slightly. Of course not, let me ask you, Yangzhou sect grand competition, which force is presided over? That goes without saying, of course it's the Supreme Court. That's right. As far as I know, the Supreme Court's branch master in Yangzhou is only at the peak of the divine transformation realm. The evil monarch said. As soon as these words came out, the evil monarch's face flickered. You mean we will make a scene at the Yangzhou sect grand competition? Attract the attention of the Supreme Court? No! The evil monarch waved his finger. Of course, it can't be so simple. What we have to do is naturally to refine all the divine transformation realm old monsters. All the divine transformation realm old monsters. Half each, what do you think? What? The evil monarch's face was full of shock, and at the same time there was some expectation. It's just that, in case of a void transformation realm cultivator, how do we deal with it? You don't have to worry about this, a void transformation realm, although I can't kill it, I can control it. As long as there are no 2 void transformation realm cultivators, we will go all out. What do you think? The evil monarch said. Good, that's great. We'll do as Brother Sha says. The two looked at each other and let out a burst of strange laughter. A conspiracy quickly took shape. Chapter 8. In the Great Demon Mountain. Roar! A furious roar shook the heavens and earth. Phew! Su Yiling flew out like a kite with a broken string. In her hand, she tightly grasped a stalk of Ganoderma. The Lingji mushroom glowed with purple light. One look and one could tell that it was extraordinary. Bang! Su Yiling slammed into the rock and exploded into a cloud of dust. Pooh! A mouthful of blood was spat out from Su Yiling's mouth. She struggled to get up with a look of fear. This old demon of Black Mountain has reached the peak of the soul formation stage. This is troublesome. Su Yiling took out a medicinal pill and swallowed it. Then, he sat cross-legged on the ground and began to treat his injuries. Damned human, how dare you steal this seat's elixir, leave your life behind. There was a roar. Buzz, the ground trembled and the rocks swayed. A huge mountain was slowly rising. Boom! A stone arm stretched out from the mountain rocks. Grabbing onto a mountain peak, it instantly caused the earth to crack and the mountains to collapse. After a while, a mountain transformed into a stone man, looking awe-inspiring. Buzz, the stone man stretched out a palm, reached down from the sky, aimed at Su Yiling and pressed over. Seeing this scene, Su Yiling's scalp exploded, and cold sweat flowed. She was in the middle of healing and couldn't move. Otherwise, all their previous efforts would have been in vain. It was only a matter of time before he fell into the hands of the Witch of the Black Mountain. If he didn't move, he would definitely be smashed into pieces by the old demon of the Black Mountain. Instead of falling into the hands of the Witch of Black Mountain, it was better to be killed by him with a slap. It's over. Su Yi's eyes were filled with despair. Master, I'm sorry. Your disciple is useless. I can't save you. seeing that the Black Mountain Old Demon was about to hit Su Yiling. At this moment, swish, a ray of blue light rapidly approached. Boom! The blue radiance transformed into a long sword, and immediately struck the palm of the Witch of the Black Mountain, causing a loud explosion. The Witch of Black Mountain's arm was knocked back. Little Ruo. Seeing the blue figure, Su Yiling screamed. "Senior sister, take the spirit herbs and leave first. I will deal with this old monster," the blue-veiled woman said. "You take the spirit medicine and leave, I will deal with it," Su Yiling yelled. However, the woman in blue gauze didn't give Su Yiling a chance and rushed toward the old demon of Black Mountain alone. "Senior sister, you must save master." All that was left was this sound. "Today, none of you can leave. Two little dolls, how dare you steal this seat's spirit medicine, die." The Witch of the Black Mountain roared angrily and stretched out a finger to attack the blue-veiled woman. Bang! There was a loud noise. The sword in the blue-veiled woman's hand shattered inch by inch. She flew out like a kite with a broken string. Pooh! She was in the sky, and it rained blood. His head tilted to the side and he fainted. "No!" Su Yiling roared, grief written all over her face. "Quack, quack!" The Witch of the Black Mountain laughed out loud, which sounded like two boulders colliding with each other. "Kid, it's a pleasure to let you watch her die." The Witch of the Black Mountain raised his finger and punched forward. Bang! With a loud explosion, the blue-veiled woman's body exploded into a bloody mist. She died on the spot. When the wind blew, nothing was left. A roar resounded through heaven and earth. Su Yiling's eyes were blood-red, looking at the Witch of the Black Mountain as if she wanted to swallow it. The Witch of the Black Mountain looked at Su Yiling. His face was full of ridicule. You must die today." Su Yiling held a long sword and walked toward the Witch of the Black Mountain step by step. "Oh, just by you?" The Witch of the Black Mountain looked at Su Yiling with contempt. Su Yiling roared, and her momentum soared rapidly. Buzz! There was a shock. Su Yiling ran toward the Witch of the Black Mountain, no, in the other direction. In the blink of an eye, she disappeared. "Not good, I was fooled. Little doll, there is such a scheme. In that case, let's have a game of cat and mouse." The corners of the Witch of the Black Mountain's mouth rose, and the black gas on his body surged, wrapping him up at once. Then, it formed a black cloud and flew quickly in the direction of Su Yiling. Soon after. "Little doll, where are you going?" The Witch of the Black Mountain aimed at Su Yiling and blasted a finger. Bang! There was a loud noise. Su Yiling's body flew upside down, sprinkling a rain of blood in the sky. The clothes on her body were cut. Her whole person was extremely embarrassed. Damn it, Su Yiling cursed. She gritted her teeth and ran away. In front of the Witch of the Black Mountain, her speed was simply a joke. No matter how hard she tried, she couldn't escape at all. The Witch of the Black Mountain followed closely. From time to time, she stretched out a finger and blasted it on her body. There were more and more scars on her body. Several times, she almost fainted. Bang! A finger blasted, and Su Yiling did not resist. She used this force to run away quickly. Ahead was the periphery of the Great Demon Mountain. As long as she escaped, there was still a glimmer of hope. "Little doll, the game is over." The Witch of the Black Mountain suddenly accelerated, stretched out his big hand, and blasted it toward Su Yiling. I didn't get any blessing point." Sun Hao shook his head for a while, his face full of sadness. Since the last time he got 50 blessing points by chopping firewood, he never got it again. This luck was too bad. Sure enough, the system was right, his luck was not enough. What to do? Sun Hao looked at a scripture on the table and sighed again and again. To be honest, he didn't like chanting scriptures. If it weren't for the system forcing him, he would never read a word. The 3 words, Diamond Sutra, attracted Sun Hao's gaze and seemed to be seducing him to open it. Forget it, I'll just read it once, maybe I can get the blessing point." Thinking so, Sun Hao sat cross-legged on the ground and began to chant scriptures. As I have heard, for a time, the Buddha is, every word was a gem, and his voice was loud. A scripture that could not be seen by the naked eye spat out from his mouth. The golden light was dazzling and shining. After these scriptures circled around him a few times, they flew out of the window and gathered in the sky. A Vajra Arhat was quickly born. The Vajra Arhat closed his eyes, and his body emitted layers of golden light. It looked extremely sacred. Suddenly, the Vajra Arhat opened his eyes, and a bright light burst out. Bold! A loud shout shook the air, causing the air to buzz. Immediately afterward, the Vajra Arhat stretched out his hand and grabbed forward. This grab seemed to be able to tear the world, making people's scalp tingle. Chapter 9. Little doll, go to hell! The old demon Black Mountain snorted coldly, stretched out his big hand, and covered Su Yiling. Master, I'm sorry. Su Yiling gave up resistance, closed her eyes, and quietly waited for death. Seeing that the big hand covering the sky was about to pinch Su Yiling into powder. At this time, how dare you! A loud roar shook heaven and earth. Immediately afterward, a big golden hand reached down from the sky. It held the palm of the old demon Black Mountain tightly. The old demon Black Mountain's face changed dramatically, and he struggled frantically, but he couldn't break free at all. Before he could react, he saw that his whole arm burst open a little bit. The old demon Black Mountain let out a heart-wrenching scream. Who is it? Get out of here! The old demon Black Mountain shouted. Noisy! A sound rang out. Countless golden lights came from the void. The scriptures were flying all over the sky, like an overwhelming golden butterfly. Seeing this scene, the old demon Black Mountain's face was full of horror. Such a terrible pressure was too terrible. At least it was Buddha. Buddha! Buddha, spare my life! The old demon Black Mountain knelt down toward the sky and kept kowtowing. Disturb the master's quiet cultivation, die. The words came out. The scriptures all over the sky were flying over quickly. In an instant, it wrapped the old demon Black Mountain. No, the unwilling cry stopped abruptly. The old demon Black Mountain's body burst into powder little by little. What was left in place was only a monster core. The monster core kept beating and seemed to be struggling violently. Finally, boom, the monster core burst and disappeared without a trace. After the old demon Black Mountain disappeared, these scriptures turned into a Vajra Arhat. In his eyes, two divine lights burst out and swept in all directions. After a while, the Vajra Arhat's body dispersed, turned into scriptures, flew into the void, and disappeared. What was left in place was only Su Yiling, who was standing there stupidly. Her chest was undulating, and her face was full of shock. This strength, it was extremely heaven-defying and unimaginable. Is this Buddha? It's terrible. The problem is that Buddha is still just a servant? Who was his master? How terrifying was his master? At this thought, Su Yiling drew a cold breath, and her body was cold. She pressed her violently heaving chest and took a deep breath. After a long time, she finally calmed down. After recovering, a sharp pain came, and Su Yiling almost fainted. No, I cannot faint here. Master is still waiting for me. Little Ruo, I won't let you die in vain. Su Yiling swallowed a few mouthfuls of medicinal pills, took a breath, and flew out of the great demon mountain. Soon, he arrived at the outskirts of the great demon mountain. The injuries in her body exploded, and in an instant she fainted from the pain. Phew! Like a cannonball, she quickly fell to the ground. Ding! Blessing points plus 50. Sun Hao had just closed the scripture when he heard a sound. Opening the panel, he found that the blessing point had reached 120 point. Chanting scriptures really has blessing points, wonderful. Sun Hao's eyes flickered. However, it's still a bit slow. When will it take to collect 1 million blessing points? If a few more cultivators come and give them a few things, I think the blessing point will be obtained faster. This idea had just taken shape. Boom, a loud noise came from outside the courtyard door. This sound was like a bomb explosion, deafening. Sun Hao was startled, and a trace of fear appeared on his face. There won't be any cultivators attacking my yard, right? How can there be cultivators looking at such a remote place like mine? Sun Hao frowned, and his mind turned sharply. He put his hands behind his back, showing the appearance of an expert. Who? Sun Hao shouted softly. No response. He walked to the gate unhurriedly. He opened the door, glanced around, and frowned slightly. He saw. Under the cherry blossom tree, a woman fell there. The woman was dressed in red gauze, facing the ground, and her face could not be seen clearly. It could be seen from the scars on her body that she was seriously injured. Sure enough, in this world, if you don't agree, you will take people's lives. She must have experienced a fierce fight with someone not long ago. Hurry up and hide. Sun Hao retreated carefully. He closed the door and returned to the house. It is said that the cultivator's blood flows for thousands of miles. Even if I am innocent, if I am seen by the pursuers, I am afraid they will give me a knife. No, I have to hide her, and I must not let the pursuers find her. Thinking like this, Sun Hao walked under the cherry blossom tree, picked up Su Yiling, sent her back to the house, and put her on the bed. He looked at Su Yiling and looked at her carefully. He saw that Su Yiling had delicate facial features and a good figure. The spring light was revealed from the tattered clothes, and Sun Hao's mouth was dry when he saw it. In her hand she held a Ganoderma tightly. The Ganoderma was glowing with purple light, and at first glance, it was not an ordinary thing. She looks good, but for a Ganoderma, she even disregarded her life. Sun Hao shook his head for a while, stretched out his hand, and explored the woman's meridians. The meridians are broken, the body is seriously injured, but there is still hope. Sun Hao secretly thought. His medical skills had reached the supreme realm. Although she was a cultivator, she should be able to try to save her. However, if he rashly saved her, if she attacked him, wouldn't it be like a farmer saving a snake? If he didn't save her, then she would definitely die. After learning medical skills, he couldn't pass this hurdle in his heart if he didn't save her. Got it. Sun Hao's eyes glowed, and he came up with a plan. He walked out of the room and went straight to the backyard medicine field. The medicine field was a few acres in size, and all the herbs required by the system were there. Soon after Sun Hao collected the herbs, he returned to the pharmacy and began to boil the medicine. Slow fire and fine, let the herbs fully release the medicinal properties. After a while, Sun Hao poured out a bowl of medicinal soup and brought it to Su Yiling's room. Now, even if you are a cultivator, you should be unable to attack me. Sun Hao's face was helpless. Drugging people was really self-protection. Confirm that the girl has no malicious intentions, and then give her the antidote. He fed her a spoonful. Ding, blessing point +1. Ding, blessing point +1. Each spoonful could get 1 blessing point. Can I get blessing point like this? Sun Hao deliberately scooped a little less. But he found that the prompt no longer sounded. In other words, it was impossible to exploit loopholes. Sun Hao sighed secretly and continued to deliver it to Su Yiling. After a bowl, he got 50 blessing points. The total blessing value had reached 170 points. The effect is good. Sun Hao explored Su Yiling's meridians and found that the meridians in her body were recovering rapidly. It seems that I can also cure cultivators. Do you want to open a medical shop in the city? No. Not to mention that the world of cultivators is too dangerous. These herbs alone can't be taken there. Collecting back and forth, with my speed, I can't go back and forth in 10 days. Recruit some cultivators to run errands for me? No. If the cultivators know that I am so powerful, I will definitely be imprisoned and become their special doctor. Life is dangerous, I have to guard against it. First find out the situation, and then find a few reliable cultivators to do things for me. That Chen Daoming is pretty good. Sun Hao nodded secretly. It seems that this girl is also good. I don't know how scheming she is. Let's get to know her for a while first. Her clothes are too tattered, give her a set? Thinking so, Sun Hao walked to the textile room and began to weave. Every movement was natural and smooth. Weaving, cutting, sewing, it took less than an hour to make a set of clothes. The light green gauze looked pleasing to the eye. Not bad. That girl should not kill anyone if she gets this set of clothes, right? It's just that she wants to kill me now and she has no strength. Sun Hao murmured, his eyes shining. She should have woken up. After speaking, Sun Hao walked to Su Yiling's room. Chapter 10. Comfortable. An indescribable feeling of comfort spread throughout his body. Su Yiling closed her eyes and almost cried out. With a thought, she quietly felt the meridians in her body. My severed meridians have all recovered? How is this possible? No, the meridians didn't recover. These meridians grew out again. Oh my God! These meridians are actually immortal rank meridians. Su Yiling sat up, her eyes showing deep shock. It took a long time for her to calm down. Where is this? Who was it that saved me? Could it be that Master Buddha? Right, where's the purple Ganoderma? Su Yiling was shocked. She raised her hand and saw the purple Ganoderma in her hand. Master can be saved. Su Yiling breathed a long sigh of relief and wanted to stand up, but found that she was weak and extremely difficult to move. Creak, just then, the door opened. A youth walked in. Miss, you're awake. How are you? Are you feeling better? He was handsome, cultured and refined, and his voice was very pleasant to listen to. This sentence directly hit the heart, making Su Yiling dumbfounded for a while. Young master, did you save me? Su Yiling smiled slightly, with two shallow dimples, looking very sweet. Sun Hao nodded. What? Young master saved me? He's so young, how could he have such ability? He didn't have any spiritual power in his body, so how did he reforge his meridians? No matter how she thought about it, Su Yiling did not understand. Miss, you look so beautiful when you smile. Sun Hao looked startled. Many thanks, young master. Su Yiling's big eyes were full of gratitude and worship. Although she didn't know how the young master saved her. But overall, the young master had saved his life. He would definitely repay this kindness generously. Miss, you're welcome. Sun Hao looked at Su Yiling, accidentally saw the spring light on her body, and quickly turned around. He put the clothes on the bedside. Miss, your clothes are torn. Change into this first. Su Yiling was shocked. She looked down and let out a scream. She hurriedly covered her exposed breasts with her hands. You leave now. All right. Putting down his clothes, Sun Hao turned and left. Su Yiling picked up her clothes and found that she was weak. Not to mention changing his clothes, it was difficult for him to even take off his clothes. She gritted her teeth and used all her strength, but she still couldn't take off her clothes. Let's recover some strength first. After speaking, Su Yiling moved her mind and began to absorb the spiritual energy around her. However, she found that her dantian seemed to have lost connection with her, and she couldn't absorb it at all. What should we do? Su Yiling's mind was in a mess, and she kept thinking about countermeasures. In his current state, it was impossible for him to change his clothes. Forget it, I won't change it for now. I'll cover it with the blanket. Su Yiling used a lot of strength to pick up the quilt and cover her whole body. In this way, he didn't have to worry about his naked body being exposed. This outfit is really nice. Su Yiling gritted her teeth, reached out to touch her clothes, and couldn't help but tremble. Buzz, a thunderous roar shook his mind. A cold breath came from the fingertips and rushed to Su Yiling's mind. At this moment, Su Yiling could clearly sense that her soul was strengthening. These clothes can nourish the soul, my God. If I were to wear it for a day, my soul would at least double in strength. This kind of treasure, young master actually gave it to me and let me change it. Does young master like me? Why am I so useless? I don't even have the strength to change clothes. Then please help young master. Anyway, my life was saved by him, and I can't help it. At this point, Su Yiling's face was like a peach blossom, exceptionally charming. Young master. Her voice was so soft that she didn't even hear it. No one responded. Young master. This time, she raised her voice. However, no one responded. Young master, young master. Su Yiling called a few times. Girl, are you looking for me? At this time, a voice came from outside the door. Yes, young master. After saying this, Su Yiling's heart was pounding. Okay, then I'm coming in. The door opened. Su Yiling didn't dare to look at Sun Hao's eyes, looked elsewhere, and was about to speak. Girl, your body has just recovered. Have a bowl of porridge first to replenish your physical strength. When she looked up, she saw Sun Hao coming over with a bowl of porridge. Porridge? Su Yiling was taken aback. As a cultivator, this kind of mundane food has long been tasted. There was only one way to restore physical strength, and that was to restore spiritual power. However, the young master's life-saving grace was unforgettable, and his heart couldn't be cold. It was nothing to drink a bowl of porridge. Yes, porridge. Don't underestimate it. It's quite effective for people who have just recovered from a serious illness. After speaking, Sun Hao picked up the spoon and scooped a spoonful to Su Yiling's mouth. Thank you, young master. Su Yiling opened her mouth and sucked hard. Buzz, it was like an electric shock. Su Yiling was completely dumbfounded in place. A porridge aroma filled her mouth. The taste buds that had been dusty for many years were all active at this moment. At this moment, she felt that her appetite could also be refreshed to such a level. It's delicious. Resistance, at this moment, disappeared completely. Su Yiling swallowed it in one gulp. Hoo! A warm current came from the abdominal cavity. It formed a stream of incomparably pure spiritual energy, rushing to the limbs and bones. Then, through the meridians, it entered the dantian and converged into the nascent soul. With just a small bite, Su Yiling was pleasantly surprised to find that her nascent soul had recovered by more than half. The feeling of powerlessness all over her body disappeared completely. This small bite was equivalent to 10 middle-grade spirit stones. This is the best spirit rice. The young master actually took this kind of thing to recover for me. Is the young master really immortal? No, absolutely not. The young master's realm must be a realm that I can only look up to. The young master must be a peerless power. He actually took out this kind of top-grade spirit rice to save me and help me recover. He also gave me clothes. This great kindness, I can't repay it. Su Yiling's eyes were brewing with tears, and her eyes were red with emotion. Miss, it's just a small porridge. Sun Hao said. Thank you, young master. Su Yiling sat up from the bed, took the bowl, and began to drink. Miss, what's your name? Sun Hao asked. Young master, my name is Su Yiling, the saint of Jade Lake Palace. Su Yiling said. Miss Yiling, then why are you here? Sun Hao asked. Young master, I came to the Great Demon Mountain to collect spirit medicine. I didn't expect to meet the old demon and almost die. If it weren't for the young master to save me, I'm afraid I would have. Also, my junior sister died on the spot to save me. Speaking of this, Su Yiling cried. She was touching and distressing. Sure enough, she is not bad, and she should not do anything to me. At this point, Sun Hao secretly breathed a sigh of relief. The antidote had been put in the porridge. The conversation just now seemed calm, but it was extremely tense. Miss Su, life and death are predestined, and everything is predestined. You don't have to blame yourself. Death may be a new life, Sun Hao said. Boom, like a thunderbolt, it struck Su Yiling's mind. A shackle that bound her heart was immediately untied. At this moment she became more intelligent. "Thank you, young master, Yiling understands." "I don't know young master's name," Su Yiling said. "My name is Sun Hao." Sun Hao said, "Young master Sun Hao, today's kindness, I will repay it in the future. My master is in danger, waiting for me to save her. Today I will leave first." After speaking, Su Yiling got up from the bed. The waves were shaking and the brilliance was abnormal, which made Sun Hao stunned. "Miss Yiling, since you want to go back to save master, I can't keep you. However, miss, put on your clothes first." After Sun Hao finished speaking, he walked out the door. Creak, the door was closed. Su Yiling's face was flushed, and she was ashamed. In a hurry, she forgot everything. She picked up her clothes and quickly put them on. The green gown, wearing it on her body, looked a little more agile. From a distance, it was like a fairy falling from the sky, so beautiful that it couldn't be compared. "It's really a treasure dress." Su Yiling sensed the rapidly enhanced soul, and her eyes bloomed. She opened the door and walked out, just to see Sun Hao smiling at her. "Miss, I don't know when I can see you again after leaving this time. Please accept this painting, Miss Su." After speaking, Sun Hao took out a painting scroll and handed it to Su Yiling. "Thank you, young master." Su Yiling put the painting scroll in the space ring, clasped her fists and saluted, "Goodbye, young master." After speaking, Su Yiling set up the long sword, soared into the sky, and rushed to Jade Lake Palace. "Oh yeah!" Sun Hao made a victory gesture. Today the harvest was not shallow. First, he cured Su Yiling and got 50 blessing points. Later, he gave her a set of clothes and got 20 blessing points. Eating porridge got 10 points, and receiving the painting scroll got 20 points. In other words, from Su Yiling, he got a full 100 blessing points. The total blessing points reached 220 points. As for what kind of painting it was, Sun Hao didn't know. He took it casually from the study. For the sake of blessing points, what was a painting? Chapter 11. "Young master, are you at home?" Sun Hao had just sat down when there was a sound outside the door. Hearing this, Sun Hao's eyes flashed. "Chen Daoming." "Brother Chen, please wait a moment." Sun Hao opened the door. "Greetings, young master." Chen Daoming bowed deeply to Sun Hao. Afterward, he took out a 5-color lotus from his space ring and handed it to Sun Hao respectfully. "Young master, I have troubled you many times. Please accept this small gift of mine." Chen Daoming held the 5-color god lotus in both hands, and his body trembled slightly. He was extremely nervous, for fear that Sun Hao would not like it. "If you want to come, then come. You still have to bring gifts." Sun Hao took the 5-color god lotus and looked at it in his hand. The 5-colored light flowed slowly. With one look, one could tell that it was extraordinary. "The flower has 5 petals and 5 colors. It's beautiful," Sun Hao said. Hearing this, Chen Daoming secretly breathed a sigh of relief. "Young master, these are the bamboo hat and straw cape I borrowed from you last time. I'm here to return them." Chen Daoming took out the bamboo hat and coat and handed it to Sun Hao respectfully. "It's just a set of rain gear. You can keep it. You don't have to deliberately send it over," Sun Hao said. Hearing this, Chen Daoming's heart trembled. How could he dare to keep such a spiritual artifact for himself? Is the young master blaming me for being too late? Is this a test? On Chen Daoming's forehead, fine beads of sweat overflowed, and he hurriedly clasped his fists. "Young master, I will not return what I borrowed from you. I am definitely not that kind of vile person." Sun Hao shook his head. This fellow, if he didn't like it, then so be it. Why did he have to make it sound so dignified? Taking back the bamboo hat and the coat, the system did not deduct the blessing point, which made Sun Hao breathe a sigh of relief. "Brother Chen, your words are too serious. Come in, please. Let's have tea and chat," Sun Hao said. "Yes, young master." Chen Daoming followed Sun Hao and walked into the front yard. I'll plant this lotus first. Sun Hao murmured, walked to the pond, and planted the 5-color lotus into the pond. It's pretty, but there are too few petals. How beautiful would it be if this lotus flower in my pond had more petals and different colors? As soon as these words came out, the lotus in the pond slowly changed. However, Sun Hao didn't know anything about it. Such a scene, seeing Chen Daoming's eyes, shocked. This is the verbal compliance law? No. That's not right. The lotus is transforming on its own. There's a greater demon in the pond. My God! There's actually such a great demon beside the young master, it's too terrifying. Chen Daoming secretly wiped his cold sweat. His heart trembled, but he did not dare to show any change in his expression. If he were to break the young master and cause his Tao heart to be damaged, he would definitely not be able to bear the consequences. The two of them continued to walk inside. Suddenly, Chen Daoming looked shocked and his heart trembled. He looked at the broken hatchet under the cherry blossom tree, and his eyes shone brightly. Young master! Chen Daoming hesitated. Brother Chen, if you have something to say, just say it. Sun Hao said. Young master, why is your knife there? Chen Daoming asked. Oh, you mean it? It's broken, useless, so I'm going to throw it away. Sun Hao said. Young master, this, can you give it to me? Chen Daoming asked tentatively. After saying this, he lowered his head and looked ashamed. You want that? Sun Hao said. Since the young master doesn't want to, then forget it. Chen Daoming sighed secretly. He blamed himself for being too greedy. Although the broken hatchet could not be seen, it could produce a resonance with him. Chen Daoming could confirm that if he obtained this knife, his future would be boundless. However, such a treasure, how could the young master just give it away? Really, he dared to make such a request. Chen Daoming lowered his head, not daring to look at Sun Hao's eyes. Sun Hao frowned. This broken thing, he is a cultivator, can he like it? Since he wants it, how can I not give it? The corner of Sun Hao's mouth raised slightly. Brother Chen, you misunderstood this thing, I am thinking about how to deal with it. If Brother Chen wants it, just take it, no need to be polite. Sun Hao said. Really? Chen Daoming turned from surprise to joy, looking at Sun Hao gratefully. Seeing Sun Hao nod, he quickly ran to the cherry blossom tree and picked up the hatchet, as if looking at a top-grade treasure. You actually like broken things? The mind of a cultivator is elusive. Sun Hao shook his head for a while and walked into the pavilion. Brother Chen, what are you still doing? Come on, have some tea first. Sun Hao's voice awakened Chen Daoming. Thank you, young master. Chen Daoming quickly followed. After sitting down, Sun Hao began to make tea. Last time it was Biluakun, this time, let's change the taste and drink Dahongpo. Sun Hao said. Dahongpo? Chen Daoming had obviously never heard of this name. It would be strange if he had heard of it. This was all taken by himself. It was only available on Earth. After some operations, a cup of tea was placed in front of Chen Daoming. Brother Chen, drink it. Sun Hao said. Okay. Chen Daoming picked up the teacup and took a careful sip. The tea turned into a cold breath and rushed to Chen Daoming's meridians. Subsequently, the cold breath passed through the meridians and converged to the mind, strengthening the soul. He could clearly sense that his perception was several times stronger. Enlightenment tea! Chen Daoming almost screamed out. Fortunately, he held it back. Young master, do you usually drink these teas? Chen Daoming asked. That's natural. Sun Hao nodded. Hiss! Chen Daoming took a breath of cold air. Enlightenment tea, a supreme treasure. It was said that in that place, there was a tree of enlightenment tea in the hands of a super force. This tree of enlightenment tea could only collect 12 leaves in 3,000 years. If a leaf flowed out, it would definitely cause a bloodbath, and countless major forces would go crazy for it. The major forces that grabbed the tea leaves would not be willing to use them. They would treasure them and wait for the emergence of monstrous geniuses before they were given to them. Just now, the young master didn't use a piece of tea. It seemed that he used dozens of enlightenment tea leaves. Thinking of this, Chen Daoming took a breath of cold air again. There was a chill on his back, and his body trembled slightly with excitement. I can actually drink enlightenment tea. This is a dream. Chen Daoming murmured, looking at Sun Hao. But he was calm and composed, without the slightest fear. Looking at his appearance, he was not afraid of others robbing him. In front of this kind of peerless treasure, he could still have this state of mind. Big man, a real big man. The young master's strength, I'm afraid it's not an ordinary power, it's likely to be a crossing tribulation old monster. Oh my, I'm actually drinking tea with a tribulation old monster. Chen Daoming took a few breaths of cold air again. He strongly controlled his trembling body, not letting Sun Hao find the abnormality. However, this scene was clearly captured by Sun Hao. Immortal cultivators are above the common people, but in front of my tea ceremony, they have to bow down to me. Such delicious tea, even if you are a cultivator, can't you praise it? Sun Hao murmured, his face calm. Later, what should I send to Brother Chen? By the way, those wood carvings, maybe Brother Chen will like them. Thinking like this, Sun Hao secretly made a decision. Chapter 12. Creak, the door opened. Sun Hao took Chen Daoming to the wood carving room. Buzz, the sound shook and went straight into Chen Daoming's mind. It sounded like the roar of a dragon and the roar of a beast. It sounded like the voice of Buddha and the voice of the Tao. Chen Daoming's soul was almost shattered, and his body and Tao disappeared. This, Chen Daoming looked at the statues in the room and was too shocked to speak clearly. Every statue was vivid and lifelike. A powerful artifact spirit was hidden within. Everything was very repulsive to Chen Daoming, an outsider. Since it contains an artifact spirit, it must at least be an upper artifact spirit artifact. Could it be that these spiritual artifacts were also made by the young master? This is too terrifying. Chen Daoming's heart shook, and it took a long time to calm down. Brother Chen, since you've given me this lotus, I naturally have to give you something in return. You can choose any one of these things. Sun Hao looked at Chen Daoming and smiled. With so many different kinds of sculptures, even if you were an immortal cultivator, there would definitely be one that you like. Chen Daoming stood in place, motionless. What? Choose any one of them? A high-grade spirit artifact is given to me just like that? No. It's not that simple. Young master must be testing me. I can't accept the things inside. Thinking of this, Chen Daoming showed an expression of sudden realization. Young master, I have already received a hatchet from you. I can't accept any more. Chen Daoming said. What? You don't like the things here? Sun Hao's face showed a trace of displeasure, and his voice was serious. When these words came out, Chen Daoming's body trembled. It's not that I don't like the things here, it's clearly these things that don't like me. However, little fellow, you and I are fated. Quickly take this old man away. This old man will bring you to roam the world. Little kid, don't listen to him. That old man is too evil and will lead you astray. I am the most righteous person, the most righteous divine beast. Choose me. A series of voices came from the statue. These voices were clearly trying to curry favor. At this moment, Chen Daoming could no longer distinguish between north and south. His heart felt like it was about to burst open. He looked around in a daze, his shock indescribable. What kind of place was this? Just from his tone, one could tell how terrifying he was. These artifact spirits were willing to follow him because of a word from the young master. Since young master allowed me to choose one, then I can only do so. He couldn't be too greedy, otherwise, he wouldn't be able to pass the young master's test. Chen Daoming took a deep breath, looked around and began to search. He turned a deaf ear to those seductive voices. Soon, he saw the only statue that did not have the sound of temptation. This statue was a Buddha statue. The Buddha statue had lost an arm, and there was no artifact spirit inside. From the looks of it, it was a few grades lower than the other wooden carvings. Young Master purposely hid such a defective item inside. It's obvious that he wants me to choose it. If it weren't for my attentiveness, I wouldn't have been able to pass the test. Thinking of this, Chen Daoming breathed a sigh of relief and relaxed. I must choose this one. Chen Daoming picked up the Buddha statue and walked to Sun Hao. Young Master, can I choose this one? Sun Hao looked at the Buddha statue in his hand and couldn't help but be stunned. This Buddha statue was carved by him when he first learned to carve. It looked rough, and one of the Buddha statue's arms was missing. Because this was his first work, he couldn't bear to throw it away. I didn't expect this guy to choose this. AI, the first time is not guaranteed. Brother Chun likes it, naturally there is no problem. Sun Hao said. Thank you, young master. After putting away the Buddha statue, Chen Daoming aimed at Sun Hao and bowed deeply. Brother Chen, don't be so polite in the future. Sun Hao helped Chen Daoming up, showing a spring smile on his face. Seeing the joy on Sun Hao's face, Chen Daoming secretly breathed a sigh of relief. It seems that I have passed the young master's test. Young master, it's getting late, I will leave first. Chen Daoming said. Brother Chen, have dinner before you leave? Sun Hao said. Thank you, young master. The sect has something to do, I have to go back first. Chen Daoming said. Brother Chen, take care, come often in the future. Sun Hao said. Definitely, definitely. Walking to the foot of the mountain, Chen Daoming did not dare to stop, turned into a long rainbow, and hurried away. After flying a few miles away, he stopped. So close, so close. What kind of place is the young master's residence? Just those statues alone are terrifying beyond compare. Also, the pond monster, I can only sense a wisp of demon aura. It's terrible. Fortunately, I passed the young master's test. In the future, I will be more careful when I come to the young master's place. The more he thought about it, the more Chen Daoming was afraid. After calming down, he picked up the broken hatchet, put it in his hand, and looked at it carefully. I can't see the grade, but with it, I have a 90% chance to enter the top 3 in the sect competition a month later. However, I need to hone more. Dark swamp, I'm coming. After speaking, Chen Daoming turned into a long rainbow and left quickly. 300 points of blessing points. Sun Hao opened the panel, his eyes shining. Today, he harvested 30 blessing points from Chen Daoming. He remembered a few days ago, he only harvested a few points. Could it be that his strength is getting stronger, and the more blessing points he harvests? Su Yiling's aura is indeed much stronger than Chen Daoming. It must be like this. Oh no, I forgot to tell Chen Daoming. Sun Hao slapped his thigh and thought it was not good. He had forgotten the most important thing. Open a clinic and hire Chen Daoming as a bodyguard. This Chen Daoming seemed to be easier to talk to. How could I forget such an important thing? Hey, I can only wait for him to come next time. Sun Hao sighed, showing a helpless look. In the center of the great demon mountain range, in a cave, a man with a fiery red body sat in the main seat, looking at the 2 rows of men below with eagle-like eyes. He was the current demon lord of the great demon mountain, Liang Golden Crow. Black Mountain old demon died tragically? Where did he die? Liang Golden Crow asked. Demon lord, he died on a mountain on the southern edge of the great demon mountain. An old man said. Southern edge? Did the Supreme Court do it? Liang Golden Crow asked. Demon lord, I don't know. The old man said. Can you see who killed it? Liang Golden Crow said. Demon lord, my cultivation is low, and I can't see it. The old man said. No matter who it is, Those who dare to kill our people in the great demon mountain must not be let go. Lai Young Golden Crow said. Demon Lord, this general requests for permission. Let me kill the murderer. Demon Lord, I will cut off the murderer's head and hang it at the door. One by one, the great demons stood up and rushed to be the first. Lai Young Golden Crow saw this scene, and his mind turned sharply. To be able to kill the Black Mountain Old Demon, his strength must not be weak. However, it was not worth doing it himself. Just in case, he had to send a powerful general. Lai Young Golden Crow nodded secretly. In that case, Single Horn, Huang Li, Jin Lin, you go and investigate this matter together. If you see the murderer, kill without mercy. Lai Young Golden Crow said. Yes, Demon Lord. The three old demons saluted one after another. What? They actually sent 3 demon void realm cultivators? The Demon Lord is too careful. If the 3 of them join forces, they can fight against the Mahayana realm cultivators. They are indeed a little careful. Chapter 13. One day later. Jade Lake Palace in a pill refining room. Su Yiling stood in front of the pill furnace with a solemn expression. He had to concoct a heartless pill. This was related to whether the master could be saved and whether the Jade Lake Palace could survive. Beside the alchemy furnace, female disciples stood in all directions, waiting for Su Yiling's instructions. Start the furnace. Su Yiling shouted, and a group of female disciples moved at the same time. Su Yiling looked solemn and serious. Every step was done with extreme care. After all the auxiliary materials were purified, Su Yiling carefully took out the purple Ganoderma lucidum. This was a top-grade elixir. Even the Jade Lake Palace couldn't get one. There was only one stock, so there was no room for carelessness. Su Yiling was extremely cautious and began to purify. Without any mishaps, the purification was successful. Great, we succeeded. The Saintess is amazing. As long as the fusion is successful, it will be done. The surrounding female disciples were overjoyed. Su Yiling continued to act. A few moments later. Buzz, a vibrating sound rang out. The furnace was opened. A pill flowing with purple light flew out of the cauldron. The legendary Heartless Elixir has been successfully refined. The Saintess really refined a supreme-grade spirit pill. Haha, our Jade Lake Palace is going further, and it may even become a 6th-class sect. Yes. A series of exclamations sounded. Su Yiling took the medicinal pill and quickly ran to the palace lord's room. Creak, the door opened. In the palace master's room, a woman dressed in purple was lying on the bed. The woman's face was sallow and emaciated, and her breathing was weak. She was Su Yiling's master, the palace master of Jade Lake Palace, Luo Luoyan. Su Yiling quickly sent the pill to Luo Luoyan's mouth. Then, she sat on the edge of the bed and held Luo Luoyan's hand tightly. Master, you must wake up. After a while, Luo Luoyan opened her eyes, looked at Su Yiling, and grabbed her tightly. Disciple, son, Jade Lake Palace will be handed over to you in the future. After that, Luo Luoyan's head tilted and she fainted. Master! Su Yi's face changed and started crying. She sensed that Luo Luoyan's heart gradually stopped, and she was at a loss. Master, it's all my fault. It's all my fault. It's all my fault. Your disciple is unfilial. She took out all the things in the space ring, then picked out the things from inside and threw them to the side. The last thing he held in his hand was the picture scroll sent by Sun Hao. This is a gift from the young master. What is it? He opened the scroll. In the painting, there was a woman collecting red beans. On the painting, there were words. The red bean grows in the south, and when spring comes, it will sprout a few branches. May the gentleman pick them, for they are the most yearning. As soon as Su Yiling finished reading, a sudden change occurred. The woman in the painting stood up and smiled at Su Yiling. Then, she walked out of the painting. He turned into a small person with immortal chi and stood on Luo Lu's cigarette butt. Then, she said, The red bean grows in the south, and when spring comes, it will sprout a few branches. May the gentleman pick them, for they are the most yearning. Red beans, from the hands of the little person, flew into Luo Liuyen's mouth. Luo Liuyen's yellow face quickly regained its rosy color. It was full of vitality, with an immortal aura, and it looked exceptionally beautiful. Finally, she slept there with a smile on the corner of her mouth. Hoo! The little person flew back into the painting, motionless. It was as if everything was an illusion. This is the manifestation of Tao rhyme, too incredible. Could it be that the young master had already calculated everything and deliberately sent this painting to me to bring it back to save master? I thought it was just a mortal, and it almost killed master. At this point, Su Yiling felt a burst of fear. Young master's great kindness, Yiling can't repay it. Su Yiling looked out of the window with an apologetic face. A moment later, Luo Liuyen woke up slowly and stretched. It's so comfortable. Master! Su Yiling shouted. Yiling, why did you follow me to the underworld? Luo Liuyen said. Master, this is not the underworld. You are still alive. Su Yiling said. Alive? What happened? Luo Liuyen sat up and asked. Su Yiling told her about her trip to the Great Demon Mountain and her encounter with Sun Hao. Luo Liuyen listened carefully, showing a shocked face. There is such a senior in the small western regions. That young master, you must treat him well, don't dare to offend him. Luo Liuyen said. Master, rest assured, Yiling understands. Su Yiling said. What about that painting, show me. Luo Liuyen said. Yes, master. After speaking, Su Yiling sent the painting scroll to Luo Liuyen's hand. Luo Liuyen picked it up and looked at it, and she was shocked in place. Tao rhyme, it's really Tao rhyme. This is the way of lovesickness, this is the way of affection, what a strong Tao rhyme. Luo Liuyen was stunned, and did not recover for a long time. She quickly put away the painting scroll and looked around. Luo Liuyen lowered her voice. Yiling, the value of this painting is immeasurable. I'm afraid that 10 Jade Lake palaces can't equal 10% of it. What? Su Yiling was shocked. Young master really said it was for you? Luo Liuyen asked. Su Yiling nodded. Did I give you a painting scroll just to save me? Luo Liuyen frowned secretly and began to think. After a while, Pa, Luo Liuyen slapped her thigh. I understand, young master is reminding us. Luo Liuyen said loudly. Master, what is reminding us? Su Yiling was confused. Yiling, do you know why I failed to break through? Luo Liuyen asked. I don't know. Su Yiling shook her head. That's because we practice the way of ruthlessness. Luo Liuyen said. Does this have anything to do with failure? Yes, of course. You see, our relationship is as close as mother and son, and the whole palace is as close as sisters. Where is this ruthlessness? It's obviously affectionate. It would be strange if the affectionate people practice the way of ruthlessness. Young master gave you this painting scroll, not only to save me, but also to remind us. We should practice the way of lovesickness and the way of affection. From today on, pass down the order, all Jade Lake Palace disciples should change to the way of affection. Luo Liuyen said. Chapter 14. Su Yiling showed an expression of sudden realization. She was so stupid that she didn't even think of the young master's hint. The young master certainly didn't want to be involved in karma, so he could only wake us up in secret. Fortunately, the master was smart and understood everything. I can't repay the young master's kindness. Su Yiling muttered to herself, and her eyes were full of gratitude. Yiling, did the young master give you this dress? Luo Liuyen asked. Su Yiling didn't rush to answer, but thought about Sun Hao's words carefully. Master, the young master saw that my clothes were ragged, and let me change first. Su Yiling said. That's it, come with me. After speaking, Luo Liuyen took Su Yiling to a secret room. This room was filled with the treasures of Jade Lake Palace. There were spirit pills, spirit weapons, and cultivation methods. Luo Luoyan picked up a spirit sword and walked to Su Yiling. Before Su Yiling could react, she raised the sword and stabbed it into her body. Boom! A sound rang out. The spirit sword cracked. There was no injury on Su Yiling's body. Su Yiling was dumbfounded, and she looked surprised. You see, the low-grade spirit sword is as fragile as tofu, and it explodes easily. The clothes on you look ordinary, even I can't see through it. If I didn't guess wrong, this thing must be a superb spirit weapon, Luo Luoyan said. Boom! A thunderclap blasted on the top of Su Yiling's head. High-grade spirit weapon was already a treasure. No one in Jade Lake Palace had ever seen a superb spirit weapon. Not to mention, it was this kind of full-body defensive superb spirit clothes. The value was immeasurable. She thought it was just a magic weapon to enhance soul power. Unexpectedly, it turned out to be a defensive superb spirit weapon. This kind of thing, the young master actually asked her to change? Not afraid of taking it for herself? Master, so this set of clothes is priceless? Su Yiling asked. Yes, I'm afraid it's even worse than the painting, Luo Luoyan said. This. Su Yiling's face was full of shock. Unexpectedly, she was wearing this kind of clothes. Fortunately, she didn't encounter a villain, otherwise it would be bad. Su Yiling stared at the clothes blankly, her heart beating violently, and she had an impulse to take it for herself. Yiling, do you want to keep it for yourself? Luo Luoyan asked. Su Yiling looked sluggish and blushed. Disciple, can't you see that this is a test given by the young master? Luo Luoyan said. Master, do you mean that the young master is testing whether we are greedy or not? Su Yiling asked. Not bad. Then what should we do? This kind of treasure, naturally, can't be taken for yourself. Immediately return it to the young master, Luo Luoyan said. Hearing this, Yes, master. After speaking, Su Yiling was about to run out. Stop. Luo Luoyan stopped her. Master? Su Yiling looked anxious. Yiling, you have to use your brain. Don't let master teach you everything. You drank the young master's top-grade spiritual porridge and took his painting. The young master also saved you, saved me, and woke up our entire Jade Lake Palace. This kind of great kindness, are you going to go empty-handed like this? Luo Luoyan's voice gradually became louder. Su Yiling lowered her head and looked ashamed. It was really inappropriate. The young master may not like the treasure on her body, but whether she took it or not, it was sincerity. In the eyes of the young master, she couldn't be a greedy white-eyed wolf. Master, what should I do? Su Yiling asked. Naturally, I have to give the young master a big gift. Also, I must accompany you in person, so that I can show sincerity, Luo Luoyan said. Master, what should we choose? Middle-grade elixir? High-grade elixir? How can these vulgar things enter the young master's eyes? If you want to go, you must give the treasure of our palace, Jade Lake, Luo Luoyan said. What? Su Yiling was shocked. Jade Lake is the foundation of our sect. If we give it to the young master, then what do you know? That painting alone can make our Jade Lake Palace survive forever. What is a small Jade Lake? Luo Luoyan said. Master's lesson is right, this disciple is stupid, Su Yiling said. Okay, take me to see the young master. After speaking, Luo Luoyan flew up and stood over the forbidden area of Jade Lake. She waved her right hand. Buzz, the ground shook. Jade Lake, hundreds of square meters, rose from the ground. Finally, Jade Lake turned into the size of a palm and fell into Luo Luoyan's hands. Mountain and river in the palm? Master, you broke through? Su Yiling looked at Luo Luoyan, and her eyes flashed. Yes, thanks to the young master's lovesickness painting, I broke through, Luo Luoyan said. Okay, let's go. Yes, master. Two figures hurried away. 1 day later, the two came to the periphery of the great monster mountain. After landing, they looked at the mountain in front of them with a solemn look. Yiling, you must be respectful later. You must not be like last time. Luo Luoyan said. Master, you have said it hundreds of times along the way. I know you can't fly directly to the mountain, you have to walk up from the foot of the mountain. Don't look at the young master's eyes. When eating, let the young master move his chopsticks first. The seat must be the young master's seat. If the young master sits in the side, that means we are not qualified to sit. Su Yiling said one sentence at a time, without missing a word. Yiling, you are very smart, but your brain is always missing a tendon. Don't be confused later. Luo Luoyan said. Master, don't worry, this time it will never happen. After talking for a while, the two straightened their clothes, took a step, and walked up the mountain unhurriedly. Soon after, the two came to Sun Hao's residence. Young master, are you at home? Su Yiling knocked on the door. Creak. The door opened, and inside the courtyard, Sun Hao poked his head out. When he saw Su Yiling, his eyes flashed and disappeared. When his gaze swept to Su Yiling's side, his expression stagnated. He saw a woman in a purple robe standing next to Su Yiling, and her face was comparable to Su Yiling's. She looked more mature and more feminine. Especially the proud figure under the purple robe, it made people's blood spurt. It turns out that Miss Su is here, please come inside. Sun Hao made a gesture of invitation. Thank you, young master. Su Yiling bowed slightly to show respect. Young master, this is my master, Luo Luoyan. Su Yiling introduced. Luoyan greets the young master. Luo Luoyan bowed and saluted. It turned out to be Senior Luo. Please come inside. Young master, how dare I call you senior? If you don't mind, just call me Luoyan. Luo Luoyan said. What? The cultivator is so easy to talk to? Let me call her by her name? Since she asked, it had to be so. Miss Luoyan, please come inside. Sun Hao said. Su Yiling looked at this scene, and her face showed a glimmer of light. Ginger is still spicier. In a few words, she narrowed the distance with the young master. I have to learn more. Su Yiling thought secretly and followed behind the two. Chapter 15. 9-Colored God Lotus? No, the 100-colored Divine Lotus. Walking into the courtyard, Luo Luoyan's eyes swept the pond, and her face was full of astonishment. They saw. In the center of the pond, a lotus the size of a house was blooming with 7-colored divine light. The lotus had hundreds of petals, and each petal was of a different color. It looked dazzling and enchanting. 100-color God Lotus. I'm afraid this is a supreme elixir. Su Yiling stared blankly, shocked. She remembered that 2 days ago, there was only one 5-colored lotus here. 2 days passed, and a 100-colored divine lotus actually grew out. This was inconceivable. The 5-colored divine lotus was still growing in the same place, and there were no changes. This 100-color God lotus had just grown. The young master was indeed powerful. His methods were unimaginable. Is it nice? At this time, Sun Hao's voice awakened the two women. The two women nodded, their faces filled with admiration. Young master, did you plant this lotus flower? Luo Luoyan asked. When Sun Hao heard this, the corner of his mouth rose. He remembered that a few days ago, he had planted a 5-colored divine lotus. Then, he said a few words. Presumably, after Chen Daoming heard it, he secretly used a means to make the pond change. As a result, after 2 days, a 100-colored lotus flower grew out. Sun Hao shook his head slightly. That's not it. It's a little trick of a friend of mine. What? A little trick from a friend? The young master's friend was actually so terrifying? Hiss, Luo Luoyan took a breath of cold air and looked at Sun Hao with admiration. With just a few tricks, he could make the pond grow such a large peerless spirit herb. He was afraid that the young master's friend was not an ordinary person. It was very likely that he was a Mahayana realm cultivator or a tribulation-passing old monster. Lu Yen came to disturb the young master today to thank the young master for saving my life. Luo Luoyan bowed deeply to Sun Hao. It's nothing, don't mention it. Sun Hao said. Hearing this, Luo Luoyan frowned secretly. Could it be that the painting was also created by the young master? Young master, the painting you gave Yiling has a distant artistic conception, which benefited us a lot. May I ask who did it? Luo Luoyan asked. My stupidity has made Miss Luoyan laugh. Sun Hao said. Boom. Like the ninth heaven's divine thunder, it fell on the top of Luo Luoyan's head. Shock was written all over their faces. That painting was also created by young master? That young master's methods were too terrifying. This was not a Mahayana realm cultivator. He was at least a tribulation realm monster. Why is there no fluctuation of spiritual power on the young master's body? Could it be that the young master was stuck at a certain level and was training as a mortal? Was that why he thought he was a mortal now? Thinking of this, Luo Luoyan took a breath. He didn't expect that he would be able to see such a powerful being. Moreover, he had formed a good relationship with the young master. Young master, Lu Yen has prepared a little gift for you, please accept it. After that, Luo Luoyan took out the prepared jade pool and placed it in the palm of her hand. This is... Sun Hao saw jade pool in Luo Luoyan's hand, and his face was full of doubts. Young master, it's called the jade pool. It can be used to bathe. Luo Luoyan thought about it and said, Really? Sun Hao's eyes flashed. I'll set it up under the cherry tree. What do you think? Luo Luoyan's eyes swept around and she saw a large open space between two cherry trees. It was more than enough to put the jade lake there. And the branches of the cherry tree could completely cover the jade lake. Thank you, Miss Luoyan. Sun Hao nodded. It should be. After speaking, Luo Luoyan waved her right hand. Who? The palm-sized jade lake grew rapidly at a speed visible to the naked eye. In less than a moment, a pool of several hundred square meters was formed. The water mist steamed up in the pool, setting off the pink cherry blossoms. It was as beautiful as a fairyland, making people reluctant to look away. From time to time, cherry blossoms fell and dotted the water, which was breathtaking to see. Master, Jade Lake, the pool has changed. I'm afraid the spring water inside has reached the top-grade spirit spring level. Su Yiling transmitted her voice to Luo Luoyan. I saw it. Luo Luoyan had a bitter face. Thinking of my Jade Lake Palace, several generations of palace masters have worked hard to crush it with arrays, so that Jade Lake can produce a little low-grade spirit spring. I didn't expect that it would be so honest in front of the young master, madly squeezing itself, giving birth to a spirit spring, and all of it is the top-grade spirit spring. Aren't you afraid of being squeezed dry? Luo Luoyan's voice was bitter. Master, Jade Lake is a licking dog. Su Yiling said. Yes. Luo Luoyan felt stifled. The two of them glanced at Sun Hao together. Seeing his smiling face, they secretly breathed a sigh of relief. It seemed that the young master liked this thing, so they were relieved. Miss Luoyan, you are so polite. Sun Hao said. Young master, it's a small gift. It's good that you don't mind. Luo Luoyan said. Two girls, since you are here, sit for a while before you go. Sun Hao made a gesture of invitation. The two women were not polite either. They followed Sun Hao and walked into the tea pavilion together. Two ladies, please sit down. After speaking, Sun Hao sat on the accompanying seat. When the two women saw it, they didn't dare to sit and stood aside honestly. Two ladies, why don't you sit down? Sun Hao was taken aback. Young master, we can just stand. How can you drink tea standing? Sit down, I'll get the tea. Seeing Sun Hao leave, the two hurriedly sat on the accompanying seat. They don't sit in the main seat? Immortal cultivators are really different. They are very modest. Sun Hao nodded secretly. He also deliberately gave up the main seat to show respect. Unexpectedly, these two girls were more modest than himself. In this way, he could talk to them about opening a medical center. Tentatively ask the two of them if they would like to be bodyguards? No. In case they became angry, it would be troublesome. He still had to get to know them for a while. Sun Hao sat down and began to make tea. The whole action was smooth and had a bit of beauty. For secular tea, the two women naturally disdained to drink it. However, since the last time Su Yiling drank the spirit porridge, her taste buds were completely opened. There was a little more expectation for the tea Sun Hao made. Luo Luoyan naturally heard Su Yiling say it, and her eyes were also full of expectation. A moment later, the tea was delivered to the two women. "This is Da Hong Pao. 2 ladies, please," Sun Hao said. The two women nodded, picked up the cup at the same time, and took a small sip. Sweet and fragrant, an indescribable aroma filled the mouth. The tea turned into a stream of coolness, gathered in the meridians, and rushed to the brain. The soul was growing rapidly. Just a small sip, and the soul was doubled. Enlightenment tea. The two women almost exclaimed out loud. The two of them looked at each other, and their faces showed deep shock. "Master, is this enlightenment tea?" Su Yiling's divine sense transmitted. "Yes, it's enlightenment tea." Luo Luoyan nodded. Although Luo Luoyan concealed it very well, the hand holding the cup was trembling slightly. Enlightenment tea. This was enlightenment tea. Only the supreme evildoer was qualified to drink it. I didn't expect that I, Luo Luoyan, would have the opportunity to take a sip, no, drink a cup. Heavens, could it be that my luck has taken a turn for the better and I've obtained a supreme opportunity? Master, legend has it that there is only one enlightenment tea tree in that place. It has only produced a dozen leaves in 3,000 years. Each leaf is extremely precious. Is this true? Su Yiling asked. Of course it's true. This enlightenment tea tree is in the hands of that behemoth. Luo Luoyan said. Master, look at the young master, he seems to have grabbed dozens of enlightenment tea leaves just now. Su Yiling said. What? Dozens of enlightenment tea leaves? Luo Luoyan's heart trembled. After thinking about it carefully, it was indeed as Su Yiling said. The young master grabbed the enlightenment tea leaves. It seemed to be a handful, at least dozens of pieces. Young master, who is he? It's too incredible. In Luo Luoyan's heart, there were layers of ripples, and she couldn't calm down at all. Not to mention anything else, just drinking enlightenment tea had already broken Luo Luoyan's 3 views. The two women's shocked appearance was clearly captured by Sun Hao. His own tea ceremony had reached the supreme realm. Even if you are an immortal cultivator, as long as you drink it, your heart will be captured by your own tea ceremony. 2 girls, don't be stunned, drink it, Sun Hao said calmly. Yes, yes, young master. The 2 women nodded again and again, picked up the cup and took a sip. After a few sips, Luo Luoyan sat in place, closed her eyes and felt quietly, as if she was the only one left in the whole world. At this moment, she reached the realm of unity of heaven and man. Heaven and earth seemed to be under her control. The power of the starry sky in the sky fell like silk threads and poured into her body. She stared at Sun Hao and watched him put down the teacup, stunned in place. This action was full of Tao rhyme and natural. Luo Luoyan looked at this scene blankly, motionless. An immortal skill, in her mind, quickly condensed and formed. Chapter 16. Phew, Luo Luoyan opened her eyes. Who would have thought that I would be able to break through 3 barriers and reach dimension-sundering realm advanced stage after attaining the unity of heaven and man realm? In just 2 days, he has grown so much. I'm afraid there's no one like him in the entire Tianluo continent. If she knew, I'm afraid her expression would change greatly, right? Luo Luoyan murmured, revealing endless joy. She looked at Sun Hao, full of gratitude. Looking at Su Yiling again, just like her, she had reached the realm of unity of heaven and man. A moment later, she also broke through and reached the peak of the deity transformation realm. Many thanks, young master. The 2 girls bowed in greeting. A cup of tea isn't worth mentioning. Sun Hao continued to pour a glass for the 2 women. Come on, continue to drink. Many thanks, young master. The two girls picked up their cups and continued to sip. Although he did not reach the state of being one with heaven and man, his soul was still strengthened rapidly. The stronger one's soul was, the higher one's comprehension ability would be. This would greatly benefit one's cultivation speed in the future. Miss Yiling, did the clothes from last time still fit? Sun Hao asked. As soon as these words came out, the two women's hearts trembled. Oh no, I actually forgot about this. She didn't return the top-grade spirit artifact to young master, and even let young master take the initiative to remind her. Damn it. She had left a bad impression on the young master. How could I be so stupid? Su Yiling scolded herself hundreds of times, pouring dog blood on her head. Young master, it's quite fitting. After speaking, Su Yiling took out the clothes and handed them to Sun Hao respectfully. Thank you, young master, for lending me the clothes and returning them to the original owner. Seeing this scene, Sun Hao was stunned. This shouldn't be the case. Don't girls like clothes the most? Why would he return it to him? Could it be that his textile skills were lacking? That shouldn't be the case. In other words, no one could surpass him. It seemed that Miss Yiling didn't like this kind of vulgar thing. Thank you, Mississippi. Sun Hao's face showed a trace of bitterness. This scene was clearly captured by Su Yiling. Her heart skipped a beat as she cursed inwardly. Not good, young master's expression is unsightly. He must be blaming me for wanting to keep this non-spiritual weapon for myself. What should we do? How can I make up for my mistakes? She looked at Luo Luoyan with a pleading look. Luo Luoyan shook her head slightly, expressing her helplessness. Two girls, do you like this tea? Sun Hao asked. I like it. The two girls nodded in unison. Since you like it, then take one caddy back to drink. After speaking, Sun Hao ran out of the pavilion and went to the storage room. The two girls were stunned on the spot, and their expressions kept changing. One caddy of enlightenment tea. In the entire Violet Sun Star, there were only so many of them. Young master actually said to give it to us? How could they not understand what he meant? It was a show of force, saying that he was insatiably greedy. Master, what should we do? What should we do? Su Yiling was so scared that her face turned pale, and her face was full of worry. Yiling, you can't accept this enlightenment tea. You can't even accept a single enlightenment tea leaf. Luo Luoyan was determined. Master, I understand this, but we have left such a bad impression in the young master's heart. How can we make up for it? Su Yiling asked. I can only take it one step at a time. Anyway, we must not offend the young master. Luo Luoyan said. Su Yiling nodded. Very soon, Sun Hao took a bag of tea and walked forward quickly. Two girls, this bag of Dahongpo, you can take it back and drink it, Sun Hao said. The corners of his mouth rose, revealing a smug look. You can return the clothes if you accept it. But if you drink the tea, you can't return it, right? We will never forget the young master's great kindness. We must not accept this tea. Luo Luoyan said. Yes, young master. Su Yiling said. Sun Hao was taken aback. Didn't you like it just now? I gave it to you, but you didn't accept it. Could it be that the cultivators didn't care about this kind of secular things? Seeing the two's attitude being so tough, Sun Hao sighed secretly. Since the two girls don't want it, then I won't force it. However, Miss Luoyan has already given me Jade Pool. I have a little gift for the two girls, please come with me. Sun Hao said. Hearing this, the two girls breathed a sigh of relief. A little gift which made them feel much more at ease. Following Sun Hao, they came to the study. The walls were hung with all kinds of calligraphy and paintings. Those words, like living things, seemed to fly out. The animals in the painting seemed to break through the paper and get out of it. Dao rhyme. In each painting, there is an incomparably terrifying Dao rhyme. Master, none of the paintings here are weaker than the one young master gave us. More than that. Luo Luoyan pointed to the furnishings around. I can't see through that inkstone, I'm afraid it's a supreme spiritual weapon. That brush gives me a shocking aura. It only needs a slight tremble to blow me into flying ashes. And that ancient zither, it's so scary, I dare not approach it. No, absolutely more than that, even that table, I'm afraid it's also a supreme spiritual weapon. The deeper they went, the more shocked the two girls were. If it weren't for Sun Hao, they would not have dared to come in. This kind of place was simply too scary. This was a huge treasure house. Everything that was taken out would cause an earthquake. The hearts of the two girls beat violently involuntarily. Two girls, the calligraphy and paintings here are for you to choose. Sun Hao said. What? For us to choose? Needless to say, the young master is testing us. He's testing our greed. If we take a good one, then our image in the young master's mind will be powerless, and there will be no possibility of changing it. He had to choose the worst, and only one of them. Thinking like this, the two girls looked at each other and nodded at the same time. Thank you, young master. After that, the two girls began to choose in the study. It seems that this chair is the worst. No. The young master said to choose calligraphy and paintings, and this is for the young master to sit on, you can't choose. This sunrise painting seems to be okay, it should be the worst one. No, it's not much worse than the others. The two girls walked around, shaking their heads from time to time. Finally, their eyes were fixed on a bamboo basket at the same time. They saw that in the bamboo basket there were a few balls of painting paper. Young master, this is? Luoyuan asked. This is the draft to be discarded. Sun Hao said. When the two girls heard this, their eyes flashed. Discarded draft? Deliberately put it here? Isn't it reminding us to choose the one inside? What else is there to hesitate about? Luoyuan picked up a paper ball and gently spread it out. They saw a painting presented in front of the two girls. This painting was two blurred figures, a man and a woman, hugging each other. On the painting, there were two sentences written. The body has no colorful phoenix wings, and the heart has a telepathic connection. The strong emotional Tao rhyme, like a tsunami, rushed toward the two girls. It was 100 times stronger than that lovesickness painting. The lovesickness painting was mainly the way of lovesickness, while the Lingxi painting was all the way of emotion. At this moment, the two girls were stunned in place, and their faces were full of shock. Their hearts beat violently involuntarily. After a long sigh of relief, Luoyuan looked at Su Yiling and said seriously, Do you understand? The disciple understands. Su Yiling nodded heavily. The young master first reminded us to change to the way of emotion, and then tested us. Fortunately, we are not greedy, otherwise, such a peerless treasure will be missed by us. Well said. Luoyuan showed a gratified smile, and picked up the painting paper, as if holding a treasure. Chapter 17. Young master, let's choose this pair. What do you think? Luoyuan looked at Sun Hao nervously, for fear that he would refuse. Is that all? Sun Hao looked stunned, his face full of doubts. What was wrong with cultivators? Why did they all like to choose trash? If you like paintings, why can't you choose a good one? His divine dragon soaring on clouds painting was pretty good, but he didn't want it? Instead, he had to choose a draft that he had discarded? The previous Chen Daoming was also the same. He did not choose a good statue, but chose a broken-arm Buddha statue. I can't understand, I really can't understand. Could it be that the cultivators of this world all had the hobby of collecting junk? Forget it, as long as they like it. At the very least, he could give out another item, harvesting some blessing points. At this point, Sun Hao smiled and nodded. This expression, in the eyes of Luoyuan and Su Yiling, had completely changed the taste. Master, look, the young master is smiling. We have passed his test. Su Yiling said. Keep calm, try not to let the young master see it. Luoyuan said. Master, you are smiling, I can see it. Su Yiling said. Did I? Yes. The two women took a few deep breaths before they calmed down. The two women cupped their fists and bowed. "Thank you, young master. You two ladies are too polite. It's getting late. Shall we have dinner together?" Sun Hao asked. As soon as these words came out, the two women shuddered. The young master was chasing them away. "It's already so late and you're still not leaving? Do you want me to keep you for dinner? That must be it." "Young master, the sect has important matters to attend to, so it's inconvenient for me to stay for long. I'm really sorry to disturb you today." Luo Luoyan cupped her fists and saluted. "Not at all, not at all. Since you two want to go back, then I can't hold you back. Come and walk around more in the future," Sun Hao said. "Definitely, definitely." The two of them walked out of the gate and headed straight down the mountain. On the road, Luo Luoyan suddenly stopped, looked at Su Yiling, and asked seriously, "Have you realized it?" Suddenly there was a sound. Su Yiling stood in the same place. "Master, have you realized anything? Did you understand the young master's words?" Luo Luoyan asked. Su Yiling stood in place and began to think. Then, she scratched her head and looked confused. "No. You." Luo Luoyan tapped Su Yiling's head with her hand. "In the future, you have to be more careful." "Master, what did you realize?" Su Yiling asked. "If you have time in the future, come here more often." "What does the young master mean by this?" Luo Luoyan asked. "Walk around?" Su Yiling frowned and thought. Not long after, his eyes lit up. Her face was blushing, sweet and charming. "Could it be that the young master has taken a fancy to me? Let me see him more and get along with him?" Su Yiling asked. Boom! Luo Luoyan knocked on Su Yiling's head. "Fancy you? How could such a person be bewitched by beauty?" "Master, what does the young master mean?" Su Yiling asked. "It is impolite not to reciprocate," Luo Luoyan said. "Master, this is?" Su Yiling said. "The young master is hinting us to find a gift for him," Luo Luoyan said. "Looking for a gift? But we only have one jade pool," Su Yiling said. You blockhead." Luo Luoyan shook her head for a while. "If there is no gift, can't I look for it?" "Master, what do you mean?" "Soon, the Ling Su secret realm will open. If we go there to search, we will surely gain something," Luo Luoyan said. "What? Ling Su secret realm? That was left by the strong 80,000 years ago. Master, do you want to die?" Su Yiling's face changed drastically. "What do you know? The Ling Su secret realm was actually left by Taoist Ling Su. The world only knows that Ling Su is a peerless powerhouse, but they don't know that he is also a powerhouse who cultivates the path of affection," Luo Luoyan said. Hearing this, Su Yiling seemed to think of something. "Master, do you mean that the young master gave us the Lingxi diagram to remind us to go to the Ling Su secret realm?" Su Yiling asked. "Not bad," Luo Luoyan nodded with satisfaction. "You are worth teaching. That kind of secret realm, young master naturally disdains to enter, so he reminded us to help young master collect a treasure. At the same time, it is also testing us," Luo Luoyan said. Hiss! Su Yiling took a breath and looked at Luo Luoyan. It took a long time for her to calm down. "Master, you're really amazing. You hit the nail on the head," Su Yiling murmured, and her face became more and more admiring. "Master is not as powerful as you said. It's just that after thinking about it, there is a feeling of success. You grow more in the future," Luo Luoyan said. "Yes, master." Su Yiling nodded. "Not good." Suddenly, Luo Luoyan's face changed drastically, and she hurriedly flew up. Su Yiling saw it and hurriedly followed. Seeing the scene in front of her, she couldn't help but take a breath. She saw. The rolling black clouds came straight from a distance. 3 terrifying auras spread out in the black clouds. Each aura had the aura of the Void Transformation Realm. The 3 auras were united, and they were not inferior to the old monsters of the Mahayana realm. 3 great monsters of the demon Void Perfection. This is troublesome. Luo Luoyan's eyes were full of fear. Master, we are not their opponents. Let the young master deal with it? Su Yiling said. Stupid, can't you see that the young master is cultivating? Even if we die, we can't let them disturb the young master. Luo Luoyan said. Yes, master. Su Yiling nodded, her face showing a touch of firmness. The two stood high in the sky, looking at the black clouds that were rushing in, motionless. A moment later, the black clouds stopped in front of the two. A black rhinoceros with a height of 100 meters stood in front of the two. That huge body, like a mountain across the sky, could not be moved. He was sent by the demon lord, the one-horned old demon. Sniff, the one-horned old demon sniffed, and his eyes were fixed on Su Yiling. You have the aura of Heishan on you. It seems that Heishan died in your hands. Huang Li, Jin Lin, don't be stunned, let's do it together. The one-horned old demon said. Okay. Between the dark clouds, two voices came again. A 100-meter-tall yellow rosewood floated out of the dark clouds. A great monster shaped like a dragon, covered with golden scales, was tumbling in the black clouds. The three great monsters all exuded the aura of the void transformation realm. Superimposed together, it was extremely surging. Although Luo Luoyan had now reached the late void transformation realm, her real combat power would be a bit difficult to fight with an old demon, let alone three old demons. However, Luo Luoyan and Jin Lin did not retreat. On their faces there was a touch of decisiveness. I advise you to leave now, otherwise, if you disturb the young master's cultivation, you will definitely end up dead. Luo Luoyan said. Hearing this, the three old demons were stunned at first. Then they laughed. Ha ha, little doll, just the two of you? You want us to end up dead? Chapter 18. Buzz, thousands of branches grew out of the old demon Huang Li's body, like tentacles, making the air explode continuously. These branches danced wildly, pulling toward Luo Luoyan and Su Yiling. Boom, the one-horned old demon stepped forward with a mountain-like body and slammed toward the two. That kind of power was irresistible. Howl, the old demon Jin Lin let out a roar like a dragon's roar, shaking the 9 heavens. This sound rose. The two women's figures stagnated, and their whole bodies were imprisoned. All movements came to an abrupt end. It's over. The two of them could only watch helplessly as the three old demons charged at them. Seeing that the three old demons were about to tear the two into powder. At this time, presumptuous, a sound rang out. The voice was soft and refreshing. Hearing it, the ears of the three old demons were numb. All of their movements came to a halt. Looking at the sound, their pupils shrank. They saw, in a pond on the mountainside, 100-color god lotus exuded a 9-colored divine light. The petals of the god lotus were all stretched out. In the center of the petals, a beautiful woman stood there. She wore a colorful lotus dress and a lotus on her head. She stepped out of the god lotus step by step, and with every step, a god lotus would be born in the air. It was so beautiful that people couldn't bear to look away. Demon? Demon immortal? The one-horned old demon murmured, and his eyes were full of panic. How could there be a demon immortal here? How could such a powerful existence live here? This is impossible, it must be a dream. How can there be a demon immortal here? The old demon Jin Lin was also scared in place, and his claws kept wiping the sweat on his forehead. The old demon Huang Li's body shrank into a ball, shivering. Your Excellency, we have no intention of offending you, please give us a way out. The one-horned old demon stood up, his whole body prostrated on the ground, and his expression was respectful. Your Excellency, please spare our lives. The other two old demons also hurriedly prostrated on the ground, and shouted in unison. When the Lotus Woman saw this scene, the expression on her face did not change at all. She looked at the three old demons as if she was looking at three ants. If it weren't for this seat, I'm afraid the master has been disturbed by you. Die for disturbing master. After saying that, the woman stretched out her slender finger and pointed at the 3 old monsters. Seeing this finger attack, the 3 old demons were scared out of their wit. No, 3 screams came to an abrupt end. The bodies of the 3 old monsters ruptured and exploded into a bloody mist, disappearing without a trace. This, Luo Luoyan and Su Yiling were stunned in place. That kind of disbelief and shock could not be described with word. Master? That demonic immortal actually called him master? Could it be that her master was the young master? At this thought, Luo Luoyan and Luo Luoyan's backs were cold, and their bodies were cold. Fortunately, it was a good karma with the young master. Otherwise, the consequences would be unimaginable. Buzz! Suddenly, the lotus woman looked at Luo Luoyan. At this moment, the 2 women's scalps went numb and they broke out in cold sweat. A boundless pressure seemed to want to crush them into mush. Only when he retracted his gaze did the 2 women recover from their trembling. Although you are Master's friends, I'll say the ugly words first. Master cultivates in seclusion, using the identity of a mortal to experience the world of mortals. You absolutely cannot expose him, otherwise, Master's Tao heart will be damaged, and I will not spare you. The voice was not loud, but it was full of power. When Luo Luoyan and Su Yiling heard it, they instantly understood. So that's how it is. Thank you, Senior, for reminding us. Senior, rest assured, from today on, we will only treat the young master as a mortal. Luo Luoyan and Su Yiling clasped their fists and said, That's good. After speaking, the lotus woman stepped on the lotus, slowly descended, sat in the 100-color god lotus, and disappeared. Dangerous. So dangerous. Luo Luoyan and Su Yiling secretly wiped their cold sweat. Let's go. The 2 looked at each other and flew to the horizon. When they came far enough, the 2 stopped. On the faces of the 2 women, there was a touch of joy after surviving a disaster. Master, it's terrible, Su Yiling said. Don't say it, my heart is still beating hard now. Luo Luoyan said. Master, how terrifying is the young master's strength. Even the demonic immortal recognized him as the master. Su Yiling asked. Unimaginable. His strength is no less than an immortal. Luo Luoyan said. What? It's impossible. Su Yiling's face was full of astonishment. How can an immortal appear in this kind of place? This is my guess, Luo Luoyan said. Speaking of this, Luo Luoyan's face became more and more cautious. Since we have a good relationship with the young master, then the young master's test must be passed. This time, the treasure of the Ling Su secret realm must be obtained, Luo Luoyan said. Hearing this, Su Yiling nodded heavily. Master, what are you waiting for? Let's go to the Ling Su secret realm. Okay. The 2 women turned into long rainbows, and in the blink of an eye, they disappeared into the sky. Ding, blessing point plus 100. Ding, blessing point plus 100. Ding, blessing point plus 100. 3 prompts sounded. Sun Hao was taken aback, and his face was full of doubts. Opening the panel, he found that the blessing point had reached 680 points. Among them, 80 points were obtained by Luo Luoyan and Su Yiling drinking tea and then giving them a painting. These 300 blessing points were a bit inexplicable. Sun Hao walked to the backyard, glanced around, and found nothing unusual. Then, he ran to the front yard again and swept around the pond. The 100-color god lotus bloomed quietly, swaying in the wind, and bursts of lotus fragrance came from time to time. He sucked hard, and his whole body was comfortable. There was no abnormality. Strange, strange. Sun Hao frowned. No matter how he thought about it, he didn't understand. However, it was always a good thing to get the blessing point. Thinking so, Sun Hao walked into the house. Creak, the door closed. A phantom slowly condensed and formed. Looking closely, it was the lotus demon from before. She looked at the house where Sun Hao was, and her face showed a look of fear. I was almost discovered by the master. If the master finds out that I used the means, will he blame me? In the future, in front of the master, I have to use less means, otherwise I will be discovered. Thinking so, the Lotus Woman phantom slowly disappeared. All around, calm was restored again, as if everything was illusory. Chapter 19. In the center of the great Demon Mountain Range, in an underground cave, Lai Young Golden Crow sat in the main seat, looking at the 2 rows of men below with strong killing intent. Gotcha! The sound of his joints cracking broke the dead silence. Huang Li, Du Jiao, and Jin Lin are all dead. Does anyone have anything to say? Lai Young Golden Crow suppressed his anger and said calmly. The moment these words came out, the great demons raised their eyebrows. A sense of peace was written all over their faces. The calmer the demon lord was, the more furious he was. Whoever dared to bump into the muzzle of his gun would definitely die on the spot. All the old demons lowered their heads, not daring to breathe too loudly. Lai Young Golden Crow looked at these old monsters with an angry face. I usually raise you, but at the critical moment you don't even let out a fart? Demon Lord. At this time, an old demon stood up helplessly. You say it. Lai Young Golden Crow said. Demon Lord, Huang Li, Du Jiao, and Jin Lin are strong enough to deal with ordinary Mahayana cultivators. They are all dead. This means that they might be facing a crossing calamity cultivator. The old monster said. As soon as these words came out, many old monsters below sucked in a cold breath. What? Even the tribulation transcending old monsters are here? What should we do? Could it be that they came to destroy my great demon mountain? Many old demons were whispering to each other. Wu Lin, what do you say? Lai Young Golden Crow asked. Demon Lord, if we want to kill these cultivators, only if you personally lead the team will we have a chance of success, said the old demon. Lai Young Golden Crow did not speak. His eyes were fixed on the old demon, motionless. You need me to deal with such a small matter? What's the point of raising you? After speaking, Lai Young Golden Crow raised his palm and slapped at the old monster. Demon Lord, don't! The old monster's face was filled with panic as he quickly fled. However, where would it be useful? A ball of flame immediately wrapped around the old monster and burned it to ashes. It didn't even have the chance to scream. Seeing this scene, the faces of the great demons below the stage changed drastically, and their bodies trembled. Since that's the case, all of you will follow me to annihilate this cultivator. Yes, Demon Lord. Report. Right at this moment, an anxious voice sounded. Then, a messenger demon soldier rushed in. Demon Lord, urgent secret report. With that, the messenger demon soldier presented the secret letter. Opening the secret letter, Lai Young Golden Crow looked at the contents, and his pupils contracted. A trace of fear flashed across his face. Lai Young Golden Crow looked at the group of old monsters and said, I have an urgent matter to leave. Let's put aside the matter of killing the cultivators for the time being. After speaking, Lai Young Golden Crow disappeared. When he reappeared, he was already in a secret room. In the secret room stood a man dressed in black. His face was covered by a mask, so it was impossible to see his face clearly. Plop! Without saying anything, Lai Young Golden Crow faced the black-clothed man and knelt down. Greetings, my lord. Get up. The man in black said. Yes, my lord. Lai Young Golden Crow stood aside, not daring to breathe. The black-robed man in front of him was an emissary of the ancestral monster mountain. In the eyes of all the demonic beasts, the ancestral demon mountain was an existence akin to the heavens, unshakable. No monster beast dared to disrespect the ancestral monster mountain. I'm not here on behalf of the ancestral monster mountain, but to do something for you personally, the black-clothed man said. My lord, as long as I can do it, I will not hesitate to go through fire and water. Lai Young Golden Crow said. Well, that's what I want. After speaking, the black-clothed man took out a jade bottle and handed it to Lai Young Golden Crow. My lord, this is? Lai Young Golden Crow held the jade bottle, full of doubts. 3 days later, the princess will come to the great monster mountain. What you need to do is to pour this into the princess's cup and let her drink it. Then, take the opportunity to kill the princess, the black-clothed man said. As soon as these words came out, Young Golden Crow was frightened, and his face changed dramatically. The jade bottle in his hand almost fell to the ground. "My lord, I can't do this." Young Golden Crow returned the jade bottle to the black-clothed man. The black-clothed man, smiled slightly and stared at Young Golden Crow. "You know this secret, do you think you can still live?" Young Golden Crow's body trembled, and on his forehead sweat rolled down. "I didn't expect to be involved in the royal battle. Damn it. If I don't please both sides, I will die on the spot. Now there is no way back. Young, you do a good job. The master will naturally not treat you badly. 3 days later, if you can cut off the princess's head and give it to me, I will reward you with 10 immortal crystals," the black-clothed man said. "Immortal crystals?" When Young Golden Crow heard this, his eyes flashed, and the color of greed was written all over his face. "Of course, if you don't complete it, then you should also understand the consequences," the black-clothed man said. "My lord, but with my strength, how can I kill the princess?" Young Golden Crow said. "Don't worry about this, as long as the princess drinks this, her strength will be gone. As long as you are prepared, it will be absolutely easy," the black-clothed man said. "My lord, won't the princess find out about this poison?" Young Golden Crow said. "You don't have to worry about this. The bottle of medicine in your hand is colorless and tasteless, and there is no toxicity when you drink it. Moreover, it will increase your cultivation base. However, if it is combined with another medicine, it will produce a strong poison. Even the immortals will find it difficult to resist. The princess has already drunk the other medicine. What you have to do is to throw this medicine to the princess," the black-clothed man said. Hearing this, Young Golden Crow nodded and secretly breathed a sigh of relief. "My lord, don't worry, I promise to complete the task," Young Golden Crow said. "That's good." After speaking, the black-clothed man took out a bag and threw it to Young Golden Crow. "There are 2 immortal crystals in it. You take it first. After the matter is done, I will reward you with 10 more." "Thank you, my lord, thank you." Young Golden Crow held the blue immortal crystal, and his body trembled with excitement. "Well, I have something to do, so I will leave first. Remember, I have never been here, understand?" the black-clothed man said. "My lord, don't worry, I understand. Farewell, my lord." After speaking, Young Golden Crow cupped his fists and bowed. The black-clothed man's figure flashed and disappeared without a trace in an instant. After a while, the black-clothed man returned. He looked at Young Golden Crow and said, "By the way, you can also give this medicine to the Grand Duke and cooperate with the princess. However, not to mention the master, even I will definitely not let you live for more than 3 days. Also, if this matter fails, the monster emperor will know. At that time, the master will be confined at most, and you will die miserably," the black-clothed man said. "My lord, don't worry, I promise to complete the task." Young Golden Crow cupped his fists and saluted. The black-clothed man's figure disappeared and did not appear again. "This immortal crystal is really hard to get, but it's worth it." Young Golden Crow looked at the immortal crystal in his hand, and the light kept shining. Chapter 20. Time flew by, and 3 days passed in a blink of an eye. On this day, in the great monster mountain, all the monsters were busy. There was a solemn expression on every monster's face, because today, the Grand Princess of Ancestral Monster Mountain had arrived. Buzz in the sky. There was a tremor. In the clear sky, suddenly white clouds blotted out the sun in the blink of an eye. Suddenly, the white clouds began to rotate clockwise. It formed a huge vortex, driving the whole world to rotate quickly. This scene appeared. All the monsters below were shocked. "Is this a super transmission array? What a powerful force! It's terrible. Ancestral Monster Mountain is really powerful. The monsters looked at the sky, unwilling to blink. After a while, the vortex gradually stopped. A figure slowly floated down from the center of the vortex and stood in the sky. She had long blonde hair. Under the blonde hair there were 2 pointed ears. Those blue eyes with a hint of timidity. It seemed to be the first time to see such a scene. She was the Grand Princess of Ancestral Monster Mountain, Huang Rumming. Greetings, Grand Princess. All the monsters knelt down and saluted respectfully. This sound shook the sky until it buzzed. Huang Ruming's face showed a trace of panic. She hurriedly walked to Lai Yang Golden Crow and helped him up. Everyone, please get up. Lai Yang Golden Crow frowned slightly, and a glimmer of light flashed in his eyes. Sure enough, as the rumors say, the Grand Princess is cowardly by nature, then this matter is much easier. Grand Princess, how dare I trouble you? Lai Yang Golden Crow waved his hand and stood up. With him taking the lead, the other monsters all stood up. Thank you, Grand Princess. Grand Princess, you are travel-worn, please take a rest. Lai Yang Golden Crow said. No, I'm going to the Blood Phoenix nest to check it out. It's important. Huang Rumming said. Grand Princess, the Blood Phoenix nest has been shaking in recent months. Even if an immortal enters it, I'm afraid it will be a disaster. You have just arrived, so you should rest for 2 days and figure out the situation before you go in. Lai Yang Golden Crow said. Yes, Grand Princess, we have been looking forward to your arrival. If you don't taste some of our specialties, we will be sorry. Grand Princess, I heard that you love the people like your children. Please agree to our small request. The old demons around Lai Yang Golden Crow took the opportunity to speak one by one. Hearing these words, Huang Rumming frowned. All right, then I'll have a small gathering with everyone. Huang Rumming said. Under the leadership of Lai Yang Golden Crow, Huang Rumming came to the party. Bejeweled nectar, they exchanged cups and cups. Huang Rumming drank cup after cup of wine. Lai Yang Golden Crow put a little medicine in every glass of wine. First Princess, congratulations on becoming an immortal. Lai Yang Golden Crow raised his glass and said. No. Huang Rumming waved her hand. I just reached the Tribulation Transcendence realm. Looks like I heard wrongly. However, it is only a matter of time before you become an immortal. No. Huang Rumming held her head and closed her eyes, seemingly dozing off. Eldest Princess. Lai Yang Golden Crow called a few times, but Huang Rumming did not respond. Bring the first princess to rest. Lai Yang Golden Crow waved his hand, and a few women immediately came and carried Huang Rumming away quickly. Soon, Huang Rumming was sent into a cage. The cage was shrouded in formation runes, making it airtight. There were more than a dozen old monsters sitting around. Clang! The cage closed. After a dozen old monsters looked at each other, they moved at the same time. Different colors of light flew out of their palms and poured into the cage runes. The cage runes lit up little by little. In the blink of an eye, a huge light shield was formed, covering Huang Rumming. Ouch, it hurts! Huang Rumming woke up faintly, holding her head, showing a painful expression. This is... She looked at the light shield covering her body with a puzzled expression. Buzz! Suddenly, the light shield vibrated. A beam of light sprinkled down and blasted on Huang Rumming. Poochie, there was a sound. Huang Rumming's body was cut with a wound and blood flowed out. What are you doing? Huang Rumming said. Eldest Princess, don't you understand? Of course, to kill you. At this time, Lai Yang Golden Crow came out. You want to rebel? The Mother Empress will not let you go. Huang Rumming said. Haha, Lai Yang Golden Crow smiled slightly and didn't care at all. Eldest Princess, you died in the Blood Phoenix nest, and it has nothing to do with my great monster mountain. Lai Yang Golden Crow said. Huang Rumming's face was ugly. She mobilized the power in her body, but found that there was no one left. Am I going to die here? Huang Ruming's face showed a trace of unwillingness. This is also good, no one looks up to me anyway. Maybe it's better for everyone if I die. Huang Ruming sighed, closed her eyes, and quietly waited for death. Kill. Lai Yang Golden Crow saw this scene, and the corner of his mouth rose. All the old monsters moved together. Above the light shield, layers of golden silk swayed, falling on Huang Ruming like rain. Poochie, the sound of piercing into flesh and blood sounded. Huang Ruming screamed in pain. It hurts, can you kill me quickly? Huang Ruming screamed loudly. Hearing this, Lai Yang Golden Crow showed a trace of bitterness. He couldn't do anything about it. The power of the array was limited. He also wanted to kill Huang Ruming as soon as possible. However, her monster power was sealed, but her physical power was still there. It was impossible to kill her at once. Princess, just bear with it, it will be over soon, Lai Yang Golden Crow said. But it really hurts. Gradually, Huang Ruming didn't feel so much pain. The white shirt on her body was dyed red by blood. Her whole body was horrible, seeing that she was about to hold her breath. At this time, the pendant on her chest lit up with a dazzling white light. My Meng'er, you have to live well. A voice shook in Huang Ruming's mind. Boom, all around, the sound of explosions kept ringing. The array was like a shredded paper, shattering inch by inch. Boom, the old monster on the ground, like a broken kite, flew out upside down and slammed into the stone wall. Even Lai Yang Golden Crow's body flew upside down. A ball of white light wrapped around Huang Ruming and brought her away at high speed. In the blink of an eye, it disappeared. In the secret room, only smoke and dust were left. Cough, Lai Yang Golden Crow struggled to stand up and coughed. Damn it, there is this kind of protective treasure. His face was extremely gloomy, looking at the group of old monsters on the ground. He shouted, Those who are not dead, quickly get up for this seat. Monster Lord. The living old monster crawled in front of Lai Yang Golden Crow, shivering. The princess has a protective treasure and has escaped. She must be seriously injured and can't escape far. Listen, even if you dig 3 feet into the ground, you must find the princess. If she is alive, I want to see her. If she is dead, I want to see her corpse. Do you understand? Lai Yang Golden Crow roared. Yes, Monster Lord. All the old monsters nodded together, took out medicinal pills and swallowed them to recover from their injuries. Chapter 21. Sun Hao lay in the jade pool, looking up at the cherry blossoms above his head with a satisfied face. This cultivator's swimming pool is really good. It's really comfortable to lie in it. Although I can't cultivate, I still need to eat and drink. Moreover, I have a house and a land. If I were in my previous life, I would be considered a small rich man, right? But it's a pity that I lack a beautiful woman to accompany me. The words just fell. The petals of the 100-color god lotus in the pond suddenly shook a few times. Whoosh, a sound of breaking through the air sounded. A long rainbow descended from the sky. It fell right into the jade pool. Boom. There was a loud noise and water splashed everywhere. This sound almost scared Sun Hao's soul away. Scared me to death, what the hell is that? After calming down, Sun Hao swept to the jade pool, and he couldn't help but look stagnant. He saw a woman floating in the jade pool. She had a head of blonde hair, dressed in a red dress, no, it should be said that a blood-stained gauze. Her eyes were closed tightly, and her breath was like a gossamer. Obviously, she was seriously injured. She was Huang Ruming. Beauty, still a beautiful elf. Sun Hao boldly walked to Huang Ruming. Looking at that delicate face, he was in a trance. After coming to this world for so long, it was the first time he saw such a beautiful one. Even Su Yiling and Luo Luyen couldn't compare. Her injury is more serious than Miss Yiling. Even if I treat her, I'm afraid it will take 3 days to wake up. But should I save her? Sun Hao frowned, showing a thoughtful look. It would be a pity not to save this kind of beauty. If he saved her, in case she took the opportunity to explode and slash him with a sword, he would die in vain. Miss, there is no way, I can only give you the whole body powerless powder. When you wake up and have no killing intent, I will help you detoxify. Sun Hao nodded secretly. To be honest, if it weren't for his lack of strength, he really didn't want to use this kind of dirty means. In this world without law, this was the only way to protect himself. He picked up Huang Rumring and walked into the room. This dress is all wet, it's easy to catch a cold, and it will wet the quilt. Miss Yuling's figure is similar to hers. Maybe she can wear that suit. Thinking so, Sun Hao put Huang Rumring on the bench and left quickly. Soon, he brought out a set of green robes. The young lady hasn't woken up. What should we do? A man, help her change? No. Absolutely not. The girls in this world are very old-fashioned. If I destroy her innocence, I'm afraid she'll fight me to the death. What should we do? For a while, Sun Hao was in a dilemma. He was well-read and naturally knew his limit. After some ideological struggle, Sun Hao decided to help Huang Rumring change her clothes. But he decided to keep his eyes covered. Do not look at indecent things. Sun Hao took out a black cloth strip and covered his eyes. Then, he started to help Huang Rumring change her clothes. What is this? So big? Miss, I'm sorry. I didn't mean it. I'm sorry, I touched the wrong place. Please don't blame me. It's finally done. Sun Hao breathed a long sigh of relief and looked relaxed. He took off his blindfold and took a look, and he immediately felt terrible. The clothes were on the wrong side out, so they had to start all over again. Hey, why am I so stupid? Miss, I offended you. After speaking, Sun Hao began to change Huang Ruming's clothes again. His movements were clumsy, and he accidentally touched the place he shouldn't touch. Fortunately, Huang Ruming was unconscious and didn't know all this. Otherwise, who knew what would happen? A quarter of an hour later, Sun Hao took off his blindfold, looked at Huang Ruming, and took a long sigh of relief. He stretched out his hand and began to check her pulse. The meridians are completely shattered. The 5 internal organs are shattered. I have to boil medicine for her quickly. At night, there is no power to reverse the situation. After speaking, Sun Hao put her on the bed and quickly left. An hour later, Sun Hao picked up a bowl of soup and fed it all to Huang Ruming. Only then did he relax. Her life is saved, but she won't wake up until 3 days later. She's a pretty elf. If she ties her hair up, she'll look better. Elf ears, they're really good-looking, Sun Hao murmured. For a while, he stared at Huang Ruming without taking back his gaze. Since the girl should be fine, then I'll go ahead. After speaking, Sun Hao walked out. Time flew by, and in a blink of an eye, it was 3 days. Huang Ruming woke up slowly and looked at the ceiling in a daze. Who am I? Where am I? Why does my head hurt so much? Suddenly, a memory came. It hurts so much. Can you kill me quickly? What came was this kind of memory. Huang Ruming struggled, unable to move at all. Her whole body was out of control, shivering. Don't kill me, don't kill me. It hurts, I'm afraid of pain. 2 lines of tears fell. Creak, at this time, the door opened. A figure came in. He had a dignified appearance, and every step he took was completely natural, causing Huang Ruming to be reluctant to shift her gaze away. Girl, you're awake. It was Sun Hao who walked into the room. Huang Ruming's body shrank back, looking at Sun Hao with eyes full of fear. Girl, don't be afraid, I have no malice, Sun Hao said. Hearing this, Huang Ruming calmed down a little, and her face was full of vigilance. Girl, what's your name? Sun Hao asked. Me? Huang Ruming bit her sleeve and began to think. After a while, don't kill me, I'm afraid of pain, I'm afraid of pain. Huang Ruming screamed loudly, her body shivering. Girl. It's okay, it's okay. Sun Hao held Huang Ruming, which made her feel a little relieved. Under Sun Hao's comfort, Huang Rumming relaxed, slowly closed her eyes, and fell asleep. It seems that this girl has suffered some kind of tribulation. How could she kill someone? Let's get rid of the whole body strength powder first. Sun Hao thought secretly and left quickly. Soon after, he brought a bowl of white porridge, woke Huang Rumming up, and fed it to her. Huang Rumming didn't speak, and her eyes showed gratitude. Her wariness of Sun Hao was also reduced by half. Girl, you're too tired, sleep first. After Sun Hao finished speaking, he stood up. Don't go. Huang Rumming grabbed Sun Hao's arm, pillowed it behind her head, and slept very peacefully. It's okay, sleep. After a few words, Huang Rumming fell asleep. Sun Hao smiled helplessly, slowly withdrew his arm, and did not wake her up. The poison has been detoxified. This girl still doesn't have the kind of breath on Chun Daoming and others. Is she just a mortal like me? Those cultivators are too ruthless to do such a thing to a mortal. Sun Hao murmured and walked out. Huang Rumming slept for a whole day. It wasn't until noon the next day that Huang Rumming woke up. Looking around, Huang Rumming quickly used a quilt to wrap herself up, hiding in the corner with a look of fear. Ding! At this time, the sound of an ancient zither came from outside the house. The sound was mellow, directly hitting the soul, and all the fear disappeared cleanly. In front of Huang Rumming, a warm picture scroll was presented. A family, happy and harmonious, living together happily. She was like a princess being doted on. She closed her eyes and immersed herself in the scene. Her mind was as calm as still water, without the slightest ripple. Huang Rumming slowly relaxed, put on her shoes, and walked out. When she came to the outer courtyard and saw the scene in front of her, her eyes were full of brilliance. She saw 100-color god lotus, blooming with colorful light, as illusory as a fairy tale world. 2 cherry trees were exuding fragrance. The fragrance assailed the nostrils, making one feel refreshed and refreshed. Under the cherry tree, in a pavilion, a man was playing the zither. He looked dignified and extremely handsome. Every movement was natural and indescribably beautiful. Every temperament went straight into the soul, making people feel extremely at ease. Huang Rumming walked to the pavilion unconsciously. The song was over. Sun Hao then said, "Miss, are you awake?" Huang Rumming was startled, lowered her head, and clasped her fingers tightly, looking very nervous. Miss, don't be afraid, sit down." Sun Hao asked. Huang Rumming's voice was very small, sitting on the stool, not daring to breathe. Gulp! At this time, her stomach made a sound. Huang Rumming quickly lowered her head, not daring to look at Sun Hao's eyes. The girl actually has a stomach sound. It seems that she is not a cultivator. It seems that she is afraid of me. Sun Hao stood up. The girl must be hungry. I will come back soon, wait a moment. And Huang Rumming nodded, not daring to look at Sun Hao's eyes. When Sun Hao left, Huang Rumming tried to stand up. She stared at the ancient zither, full of curiosity. She walked to the side of the ancient zither and touched it gently with her hand. Clang! A sound rang out, scaring her into quickly withdrawing her fingers. When the trill disappeared, she tried to collide again. Chapter 22. Miss, I'm back. Sun Hao came over with a plate of cherries. Each cherry was the size of an infant's fist, black with a hint of red, and emitted an alluring luster. Just one look was enough to make one salivate. Seeing this scene, Huang Rumming's expression froze. A memory surged into his mind. You bastard, what right do you have to eat a spirit fruit? Give it to me. That's right, you're an anomaly. You won't have a share of the spirit fruit. Give it to me. Then, Huang Rumming was pressed to the ground by a group of children. She was beaten black and blue, and even the spirit fruit in her hand was snatched away. No, don't hit me. Huang Rumming held her head with her hands, her face full of pain. Miss, let the sad past go with the wind. Sun Hao's voice woke Huang Rumming up. Huang Rumming hurriedly stood up from her seat and retreated to the side. She lowered her head and did not say a word. Miss, have some cherries first. After Sun Hao finished speaking, he sent the fruit plate to Huang Rumeng. This, Huang Rumeng looked at Sun Hao and then at the fruit plate, biting her lip and not daring to move. After seeing Sun Hao's several gestures, only then did Huang Rumeng grab the 2 cherries and put them into her mouth, for fear that they would be snatched away. After swallowing, seeing that Sun Hao didn't say much, he continued to grab it and swallowed it in big mouthfuls. Boundless spiritual power surged within her body. Her expression stiffened as a memory of her cultivation rushed into her mind. She subconsciously sat down and began to refine it. After a while, Huang Rumeng opened her eyes, her face full of shock. What kind of spirit fruit is this? It's so powerful. How would I know this? Who am I? Gongzi treats me so well, why would I think about that? Huang Rumeng murmured, looking at Sun Hao's eyes full of gratitude. Girl, you rest for a while, I'll cook. Sun Hao said. Young master. Huang Rumeng's voice was as soft as a mosquito. Miss, what's the matter? Sun Hao said. Young master, I will help you. Huang Rumeng said. All right then. Sun Hao nodded and walked into the kitchen with Huang Rumeng. Seeing Huang Rumeng's movements, Sun Hao was shocked. They saw Huang Rumeng wash the vegetables, cut them, wash the rice, and cooked the rice. He was proficient in everything. Although his culinary skills were not as good as his, he was at least at the level of a master. If I always have such a helper, my cooking speed will at least double. It seems that this little girl has suffered a lot. Sun Hao looked at Huang Rumeng's back and muttered to himself. After everything is ready, Huang Rumeng lit the fire and Sun Hao showed his cooking skills. This is? Holding a piece of wood, Huang Rumeng froze in place. This piece of wood was blood-red in color, and its texture was very dense. It emitted a faint fragrance. Streaks of veined patterns ran through the entire wood. Sandalwood, immortal wood. Huang Rumeng blurted out as she stood dumbfounded in place. Although she didn't know what it was, her heart told her that it was definitely not simple. Put it aside for now. Huang Rumeng took out other wood and started a fire. She looked at Sun Hao's action of cooking, and her whole person was stunned in place. Sun Hao's every movement was so natural that it was hard to describe. The dishes he made were sparkling and translucent, and they looked, smelled, and tasted great. Huang Rumeng secretly watched, remembering every movement. Soon, the dishes were ready. When he arrived at the dining table, Huang Rumeng stood beside him. Miss, sit down and eat together. If you don't mind, in the future, treat this place as your own home. You don't have to be so restrained. Sun Hao said. Young master. In Huang Rumeng's eyes, tears were brewing and she was moved. Don't be polite. Miss, why do you hide your ears? If you can tie up your hair and show your ears, it will be more beautiful. As soon as these words came out, Huang Rumeng's expression stagnated. A memory came. Still say that you are not a monster with such strange ears. Yes, it's time to cut her ears. Thinking of this, 2 lines of tears slipped from the corners of Huang Rumeng's eyes. Miss, don't cry, don't take my words seriously, eat, don't get cold. Sun Hao said. Young master, thank you. Huang Rumeng ate silently, looking at Sun Hao from time to time. In her eyes, the moving light flashed from time to time. When Sun Hao's eyes swept over, she quickly lowered her head again. Huang Rumeng didn't speak, and Sun Hao didn't speak either. Just like that, the 2 of them ate quietly, not saying a word. Young master, I'll wash the dishes. Just putting down the bowl and chopsticks, he saw Huang Rumeng quickly cleaning up. Cleaning the table, washing the dishes, cleaning the floor. There was no need for Sun Hao to worry at all. Sun Hao stared blankly at this scene, and a strange touch of emotion welled up in his heart. If there was such a wife, it would be good for the 2 to live a simple life. Young master, did I do something wrong? Sensing Sun Hao's fiery gaze, Huang Rumming lowered her head, like a little girl who did something wrong. No, you did a good job. Sun Hao stood up and walked to Huang Rumming. Come with me. Huang Rumming lowered her head and followed closely behind Sun Hao. The two came to the pavilion. Sun Hao pointed to the ancient zither. Do you like it? And Huang Rumming nodded. If you are willing to learn, I can teach you. Sun Hao said. Really? Huang Rumming's eyes sparkled. Of course. Young master, you sit down, I will learn standing. If you don't sit down, how can you learn? Okay, young master. Next, Sun Hao began to explain to Huang Rumming. Huang Rumming listened carefully, probing from time to time. You have to rely on natural tension when playing. The fingers should be picked like this. Young master, do you think this is okay? It's okay. That's not okay, young master, can you take me? Huang Rumming's courage gradually grew. How could the request of a beauty be refused? Sun Hao held Huang Rumming's hands and took her to play. Huang Rumming followed Sun Hao's movements and played a beautiful melody. They played until the evening and then the two stopped. Okay, that's all for today. Go back and rest, Sun Hao said. Yes, young master. Huang Rumming nodded and walked to another room. Sun Hao walked back to the room and nodded secretly. This girl is a genius at playing. Her talent is not much weaker than mine. Today is so fulfilling. I'm afraid the days of immortals are not better than this. If it's like this every day, this life is quite comfortable. It's time to rest. After speaking, Sun Hao walked back to the room, changed into pajamas, fell on the bed, and fell asleep. On the other side, Huang Rumming walked back to the room with a happy smile on her face. She lay on the bed and couldn't fall asleep for a long time. Finally, she hugged another pillow on the bed to her chest and murmured, Young master, you are so kind to me. Saying. Sleepiness came. Soon, she also fell asleep.